Erica Lorraine Spencer here. This is the P.O.C. pattern of conduct, the ongoing real-time documentation of what is the criminal pattern of conduct of federal stalking in violation of 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsection 1 and subsection 2. This is the pattern of conduct underway by a public entity, that is the state of California, that is engaging in federal stalking in concert with the people of the state of California. So this is group conduct. And this is the practicing of what are the criminal elements of monitoring amongst what is the demon possessed. And so this is what is documentation of terrorism as it is underway by a public entity in concert with the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government as this criminal system is in ceaseless operation. And as the state engages in this demented group conduct, this is revealing how the public entity, that is the state of California, that is in the United States of America, how terrorism of an American citizen plays out, what that looks like, how that is facilitated amongst a people, amongst a government, how it is public corruption in plain sight, and not only that, how you formulate policy and how you prosecute that which is demonic conduct, it's demonic activity, but that which is in no way impervious to prosecution in federal court, and being subject to ratification into federal policy. This is the P.O.C. It is Sunday, January 2nd, 2022, and I did capture on video this morning what is at approximately 8:58 a.m. What I'm showing is the state's fake sun is I remain at 630 North Fern. Now, this is documentation of what is already established. The state is stalking with the fake sun. You're going to take a step back, though, and understand what it is that I'm also showing. As I remain at 630 North Fern, and the state at this time had yesterday, which was January 1st, 2022, at 8:30 in the morning, I'm showing the fake sun, which is directly over the venue where I'm parked outside of 630 North Fern. I leave from this venue, I go to the Ontario Village Shopping Center, and I capture video of the state's fake sun over me, squarely over me, moving a grand departure from what is anywhere over, even in the direction of 630 North Fern. And then I go to the B&G Plaza and I show you in motion. The state's fake sun is moving in real time, maintaining perfect alignment with me as I go to the B&G Plaza, and then I return to 630 North Fern. And you are seeing from what is early, and all of that is incompatible, and it's impossible to coexist with what the state is doing with this light source, which is not the sun, while it's over the American end, aiming directed light precisely into the window of 217 on the second floor while I'm facing east on that patio of that property. And the state's fake sun then remains there upon my exit. And this is where I'm able to show you over my head the fake sun while I'm at the Bank of America. All right. And so the state keeps its fake sun over 630 North Fern for the duration of the day. You're seeing it what is on from essentially the over 630 North Fern, which is the passenger side of the vehicle. And then as late as 4:30 p.m. yesterday, I'm showing you video of the state's fake sun, which is doing nothing but being on what is the driver's side of the vehicle, maintaining alignment with me, aiming light precisely into the vehicle, creating light activity while the demons that are the people of the state are crossing path, and the state is aiming that directed light, which is the elements of monitoring. That's exactly what the state is doing right now, by the way. While they are driving on the same street, I am parked at the same position on the street, impossible light activity, while the state's fake sun is on the passenger side over 630 North Fern. Those demons are driving by, the same demons you saw stalking in the bathroom at the Montclair Place Mall, all right, because this is the same entity. This is the same demonic entity. It is the government acting to the people. They are the same exact entity and stalking one person altogether, and that is myself. And while they are driving on the street, while the state's fake sun is on over 630 on the passenger side, they are creating light activity while the state is aiming directed light inside of the vehicle, which is absolutely impossible light activity, while the blankets are covering the window and the sweater is covering on the opposite side, as you can see in the video. The state is aiming what is magnified light. That's how you are creating a pattern of the sweater onto the dashboard, which is what you see in the video. And understanding, like I said, taking a step back, the state's fake sun is aiming light precisely into the car in the morning. That's exactly what the state's fake sun was doing, what the state was doing yesterday evening, as I'm showing you after 4 p.m. That is the maintenance of presence of light, which is impossible to coexist. And like I stated in that video, like I showed you yesterday, when I'm on San Bernardino Avenue, and this is on December 30th, December 31st, 2021, I am traveling on what is San Bernardino Avenue in the city of Fontana, and the state, after keeping it over the B&G Plaza where I was in the morning, and the state had its fake sun in the same position, by the way. You have what is keeping that fake sun, aiming directed light onto that bus. All right. And that is the maintenance of presence. The state is moving that fake sun in the same way that you see it, keeping it over my head as I'm walking, as I'm in transit. The state is moving that fake sun and keeping it in that position while I'm in motion on the bus, while the bus is in motion on San Bernardino Avenue in Fontana, California. Okay. Where we are traveling on San Bernardino Avenue, that I believe is traveling. We are traveling east on San Bernardino Avenue. And I want to be clear, then I'm showing you another video when we are in Fontana on Sierra Avenue. We are traveling north on Sierra Avenue. And this is, I believe, at 4:30 p.m. on December 31st. And the state is keeping its fake sun still in alignment with me, aiming directed light, which I also show you, which is in front of me, which is requiring light to be casted on from behind me, while I'm showing you the state that's keeping its fake sun at 4:30 p.m. in alignment with me while traveling north on Sierra Avenue in the city of Fontana. Yesterday, as I remained stationary on what is Fern Avenue at the same property, not only is the state's fake sun, as you see this morning, as it was yesterday morning as well, over me, aiming directed light into this car. In the morning, you have what is at 4:27 p.m. The state is keeping that fake sun while I am stationary in the city of Ontario at the same property where it was over me in the morning. This is at 4:27 p.m. and the state is aiming directed light inside of this vehicle. That is not the sun, and that is not sunlight, and that is absolutely impossible. That is the maintenance of light over me while the demons are maintaining presence. The demons are the people of the state of California, and they are stalking on behalf of the government. You have what is that impossible an ability to maintain that presence and maintain that light, that distance. If that was actually the sun, which it is not, I'm talking about San Bernardino Avenue, I'm talking about Sierra Avenue, traveling in different directions, and the state maintaining that alignment with me. And then also not only maintaining alignment, aiming directed light onto whatever or into whatever area I am. It happened to be the bus. It happened to be this car. That is not possible. All right. You're talking about what is, maintaining alignment and aiming directed light. Changing the color of that directed light as though the sun is setting, but you are paying attention. You are doing nothing but changing the color, and you are aiming light in the same exact location, which is where I am inside of the vehicle. That is not the sun that is setting yesterday. And at the same time, when I'm in Fontana the day prior, and I'm in motion going west on San Bernardino Avenue, going north on Sierra Avenue, the state is maintaining that alignment while I am stationary in Ontario on Fern Avenue, in front of 630 North Fern, where it remains over this same street over me, aiming light into this car for the duration of the day, while demons are crossing paths, stalking all day long, maintaining that light while they are maintaining presence and maintaining activity that is monitoring. And that's demonic activity. This is terrorism, as I documented that. And then not only that, while the state is aiming directed light inside of the car, as it is doing in the morning, it's doing the same thing in the evening. And that is what I'm showing you while it is still visibly present, as I'm showing you through the window of the vehicle while I remain outside of 630 North Fern. And then on moments later, where I'm capturing essentially 4:36, 4:38 p.m., you have what is the state's fake sun that is remaining in alignment with the vehicle while we are then in motion on G Street. I want to be clear, this is essentially the same time where I'm in the city of Fontana, traveling north on Sierra Avenue, traveling down San Bernardino Avenue. She is traveling west on G Street after I have remained stationary all day long on Fern Avenue. That is the impossibility, and that is also the maintenance of what is supposedly the sun. That is not the sun. And that is documentation, again, of what is to the exclusion of the rest of the country. While this is documentation of what is supposedly the sun remaining in a single city over a single person, because that is to the exclusion of that's not any sun that's going to be visible in Los Angeles while I am capturing it over the house of 630 North Fern, over the street of Fern Avenue, over the car. It's very precise. That is not over the sky space in any other city, and it is unmistakable. And you're also looking at that based on what is the directed light. which is not sunlight. All right. So this is the impossibility of that. And that's exactly what I captured. You have what are demons that are maintaining presence. And the state is doing the same thing inside of the bathroom, as I showed at Montclair Place yesterday on video, after the state flew over that venue where the state's fake sun was by the mall. Moved from being over here, over 403 West G Street, over the fence, aiming directed light across this dashboard inside of the car, which is impossible light activity, and that is not the sun that is setting. And you have what is precisely aiming directed light inside of the car, just like it's doing now in the morning. All right, you have what is the state's fake sun then moving to be at the Montclair Place Mall. And I'm able to capture that in a still image. It is right beside the JCPenney while we're in the parking lot. That's not the sun either. And that's the 10 freeway, by the way. That is a grand departure from remaining anywhere over. That's not going to be visible over the gate of 403 West G Street. That is not going to be in a position where light is aiming into the car onto the dashboard, such that demons such as the people of the state can drive by and create a flashing light affect. That's the stalking with light. That's the creation of light activity inside of the car. That's what they're doing. That's what the entity is doing by virtue of that conduct. That's what they're accomplishing. It's the demonic activity. You have what is, again, and that images. And so what I'm showing with regard to the sex offender, that's what they're doing in the bathroom while you are maintaining directed light inside of the bathroom of the mall. And a pack of demons are inside. And that's what I captured in video and in pictures. Engaging in maintenance of the elements of monitoring inside of the bathroom, molestation of my person with that which is engineered light. They are touching while they are stalking in plain sight, and they are demon-possessed stalkers inside of the bathroom, maintaining the same environment that the state is doing while it is keeping a fake sun over a single location. And that's exactly what I just captured again while the fake sun is over 630 North Fern at this time. Indirect conflict with being capable of being also over the B&G Plaza while I am facing south, facing what is center ice. The state's fake sun is remaining present because I have remained here and I did not go to the Ontario Village Shopping Center, which is the ongoing conformity to the pattern of conduct as I have documented it. It is, again, January 2nd, 2021, and the state is aiming directed light inside of the car. The people of the state are stalking somebody. That is myself, who was sleeping inside of a vehicle. This is terrorism, while the people of the state are not only sex offenders, they are demon-possessed and obsessed stalkers who know exactly where I am at, listening to everything that I am doing, stalking and creating what is a terrorizing environment while they do so with the government. Okay. And that's the significance of aiming light, stalking in the path, which is crossing path, which is the creation of an ongoing environment serving a criminal purpose, which is interstate stalking. The demon possessed that are the state of California, the people of the state of California are engaged in interstate stalking. They are monitoring with communication devices. And that's the significance of that cumulative documentation of what is stalking with a fake sun. It is currently 9:12 a.m. and this is the P.O.C. 6UAM 446. This is a demon, and I want to be clear. They are monitoring with the demons who you see in alignment at apartment 4 at Woodside Senior Apartments. They are stalking in the path. These are old farts who are stalking somebody with their back to me. They're in relevant position, first of all, under the fake sun across the street. And this demon that drives by, I took an image of that. You can see, first of all, the state's fake sun, as I showed you in video, is over 630 North Fern. And second of all, you're going to remember that's not the sun. And what this demon is doing with the license plate 6UAM, they are crossing path and the state is aiming, flickering, flashing directed light, just as I was speaking to earlier, which is absolutely impossible. Light activity, that's the pattern of conduct by the people of the state. They are sex offenders in that regard. I want to be clear. The demons at apartment number 4, right beside the leasing office of Woodside Senior Apartments, they are stalking in the path. They are monitoring as well. While they are in relevant position and that light activity is ongoing, they are monitoring with the demon that is driving by. I just want to be clear. These are just demons that are outside that you can visibly see. This demon who is in this vehicle, who I take a picture of, they are right here at the intersection of Fern and G Street after having driven by, and the state aims, flickering, flashing, white directed light, which is absolutely impossible light activity. It's the mark of what is demon possession. It is a terrorizing act by the entity. And also it is that which is by a demon that knows exactly where I am. It's focused. This is exactly, by the way, what the demons identified by the company name of Omnitrans are engaged in. Okay, that all of that is entailed in stalking and molesting with directed light, because it is absolutely impossible. It's unnatural. It's abnormal, and it is a specific signature. And so while this demon with that license plate 6UAM, they are doing what the entire entity is doing. Okay, this is all that they are doing. They're stalking somebody who is sleeping in the car. Them at Woodside Senior Apartments know very well where I am at. They're stalking in the path while that light activity is ongoing. They represent communication devices, and they're demons doing so. They are at in relevant position while this third party, who I capture right here with the license plate, after the state has aimed directed light while they are driving by, and the fake sun is on the passenger side over 630 North Fern. Even if the fake sun was directly over the vehicle, like I showed you after 10 o'clock in the morning yesterday, that is not light activity that's ever naturally ongoing. And I've showed you in hundreds of videos. This is the P.O.C. By the demon possessed who are engaged in interstate stalking. And so that's why I captured an image of that. I want you to see that's the conduct that they are engaging in, and it is stalking. All right. Just like when I'm in the mall and I took images of what are third parties that are all around, they are stalking. It's relevant positioning. They're all in directed light. It is the exact same P.O.C, the abnormal light, the positioning all around. They are all demon possessed, and they are monitoring with communication devices in that environment while they are group stalking on behalf of the state. It is the government surrounding all around you. And that is ongoing inside of the bathroom. This is what they're doing outside while the state is engaging in the entirely demented act, which is going toward the prosecution of the government as a sex offender and the domestic enemy that it is, engaging in terrorizing an American citizen while it's engaged in monitoring with communication devices on behalf of and in concert with the people of the state. And so this is what directed light is going toward. And that crossing a path is stalking. You're doing it on behalf of the government. This is what the government is doing all day long and all night long, surrounding you all around. So it's not just this one person. It's not just those demons that are stalking in the path by standing outside of apartment number 4. It's not just the demons that are driving by on G Street. The state is maintaining presence through all of them. And that is what group stalking is, moving all around. So you're not looking at one in isolation. Of course, this is group stalking. So it's not premised on one individual. It is a collective. It is the entity, and the entity is vicariously present. Directly and vicariously, the people of the state, third parties, and the state, the fire department, ambulance, and the police department. These are state actors. All right. You have what is maintaining presence. So it's not one person walking by. It's the one that walks by, and then they're driving by, and then they're living all around. They're working all around. They are continuously maintaining traffic. That's what group stalking is. They're maintaining presence all around. That's why a fake sun remains over me. 7TIX 347 crossing path. You have what is the maintenance of presence by the government. That is what is relevant to what is directed light as well. It's absolutely abnormal. Under no circumstances is that ever occurring. And I've already showed you also that's not even sunlight. It is another method of what is stalking with light, and it is the mark of demon possession. It is the terrorizing act by the people of the state and the government. That is both a sex offender for touching while stalking and doing so by the masses. The people of the state are the vicarious aspect of the entity, and they are violent sex offenders who are obsessed stalkers. That obsession is born of what is demon possession. And these are demons who know exactly where I'm at, know exactly who I am, and know what I'm doing as well. And that knowledge is applicable and is exactly what is going on in the bathroom, while they then enter to create light activity, because that's why directed light is in the bathroom, and they're maintaining the elements of monitoring. All right, so this is a sex offender, the demon possessed, that already knows that your panties are down. They are entering inside of the bathroom, which is the ongoing environment that they are also then contributing to, maintaining the elements of monitoring. Understand that. This is how demonic activity and interstate stalking amongst the demon possessed is underway inside of that private space. And it is understanding what is the sex offender, that is the government, and that is acting through the people of the state who are violent sex offenders. All right, violent sex offenders in more than one way. They engage in that sexually predatory conduct and demented conduct, and they include children in their pattern of conduct. Okay, entering in to engage in the P.O.C. First of all, I'm being molested. You're going to be prosecuted just like every other sex offender. This is how the government sexually violates you, molests you with engineered light. You are touching, and you're touching me in the bathroom while you are engaging in interstate stalking in the bathroom, maintaining the ongoing elements of monitoring, which is speaking to what is ongoing surveillance. You're a sex offender in that regard as well. And then you are engaging in molesting, maintaining interstate stalking while you are using children in that sexually violent pattern of conduct. You're going to be prosecuted for that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly how they're going to be prosecuted. And that's what I documented time and time again. And I documented that yesterday. So I want you to understand how the elements are underway, how it is underway right now while I'm in a car, While this pathetic entity, this is Satan, acting over a people, stalking me, doing so in a vehicle, that is Satan stalking me inside of a bathroom. That's what you see amongst those people. Those are demons. Satan is acting at one time over a mass amount of people who are then crowding in a bathroom, showing their demon possession. They're all in abnormal light, absolutely abnormal light. 6C98831, another demon, crossing path with directed light in the car. And you have what is doing so inside of the bathroom, revealing their condition by virtue of that. Understand that they're in a demonic environment. They're engaging in absolutely demented group activity, speaking to specific knowledge of who I am, monitoring together while they are engaging in interstate stalking. All right. Demons lining all outside of the bathroom. The government that you saw on video flying over the venue by helicopter, they're all monitoring me in the bathroom while they're patrolling around, maintaining noise, light activity, and relevant positioning inside of a private space. That is documentation of a sex offender, of the government. That is a sex offender. It is currently 9:27 a.m. and that is the ongoing federal stalking. The people of the state who stalk in the bathroom, they chase into the bathroom. They do so on behalf of the government, who is stalking and monitoring while I am inside of a vehicle. License plate 7AEY666. It's 9:27 a.m. and doing so while I am in a vehicle, while they are aiming what is directed light, absolutely impossible light, and doing so under a fake sun. This is all manner of being surrounded with what is that ongoing insurmountable evidence. The maintenance of a fake sun over 630 North Front for the duration of the day, which is relevant to what is Pacific Standard Time, and that is documentation of what is direct evidence of the government and the people of the state who are vicariously stalking and monitoring and sexually violating on behalf of the government. And that's exactly how they're going to be prosecuted for what is terrorism, while they are of the condition, which is also revealed, demon possession, targeting an American citizen while they are monitoring with communication devices. And that documentation of what is the fake sun is documented remaining over me over a single street for the duration of the day. Pacific Standard Time from 8:30 a.m. until what is after 4:30 p.m. And that is documentation of it remaining in one single county. That is to the exclusion of any other county in the state of California, let alone any other state, because the actual sun is not remaining in California. It's not remaining over one street. It's not remaining over one person. Indeed, while these demons drive by, the state's fake sun is remaining over 630 North Fern. And also, you're going to recall, this is common sense. The state engages in acting like the state's, the sun, is setting. Also, you know that that's not the sun, because when I'm at Ovid Family Community Library, that's the vantage point where the state is then migrating, keeping a fake sun in alignment with the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library. That's how I was able to capture that at approximately 3:59 p.m. At the Ovid Family Community Library, which I captured before on time and time again. License 8JXY531. So the state is maintaining its fake sun and engaging in then changing the color, lowering it in elevation, maintaining directed light in the same exact location, which is inside of this car, which is not the sun. That is also how you know that there is no sun based on what the state is doing, stalking with a fake sun. That is not over any sky space in Nevada, in any other county, in Los Angeles. That is the fake sun that is remaining over me and aiming light in precisely the same location, because the sun that is going to be in any other county is not aiming light inside of this car. 6JXB745. All right. Everything that the state is doing is revealing what is surrounding the government with direct evidence, which is insurmountable, and speaking to also what are the criminal conduct of absolutely demented and demon-possessed stalkers who are violent sex offenders. And that's exactly what I captured yet again inside of what is your neighborhood mall in Montclair Place, a venue that it's going to be prosecuted for being a sex offender. That is directed light inside of the bathroom. Period. You have what is also engaging in what is facilitating sexual violence by virtue of being a facilitating venue. License 4ZJH881. And you have what is the government is a sex offender. I'm showing how the government is monitoring through the people. The government is monitoring, engaging in that interstate stalking with the people, and does it all the ways in which I have shown. And that, again, that documentation today being over and remaining over in conflict with, it's in the absolute opposite direction of being over the B&G Plaza while it remains at 630 North Fern. That is, my back is toward this direction, and I've shown time and time again the absence of any sun in this location while I'm at the B&G Plaza. Let alone you have what is the state keeping it over this same portion of the street, over this car, for the duration of the day yesterday. And I've already shown where the state has kept its fake sun over the B&G Plaza for the duration of the day. Okay. The state keeping its fake sun over the Motel 6 while I'm there, over the license plate for UXU 258. The state keeping its fake sun wherever it is that I remain, including the Open Family Community Library, both early in the morning before this time and after 4:30 in the evening. I've captured this already. I've documented this. I've already established this. The state it is unmistakable what the state is doing, and that is stalking with a fake sun. And while the state does that, it is revealing what the rest of the country is doing. And the next level is understanding on a larger scale what is going on in the rest of the world with regard to governments monitoring citizens. But with regard to here, I live in California in the United States, and we are bound by a constitution, which the government is literally engaging in defecating on. It's defecating all over it, including the people. And let me be clear, Satan, this is demonic activity. Satan cares not about your human rights, not concerned in the least bit about your constitutional rights that are God-given. All right, not delegated by any man or government. Let me be clear. Satan is antithetical to the very notion. So I want to be clear. Everything that I'm documenting is that which is characteristic of demons. First of all, this is not bound by any sort of legitimate respect for the laws. It's actually the antithesis of that. You're talking about what is criminal. And it's by the government, and it is through the people. All right. And you are talking about what is revealing the true identity based on what is that physical. What is not able to be perceived physically. And that is demon possession. All right. Demons are violent sex offenders, violating your human rights. They care not about that. You're talking about what you're dealing with in the spirit, or violating all manner of your human rights and constitutional rights in the natural. All right. And you can drag those demon possessed stalkers, including the government, in a forum in federal court. They're not impervious to it, where you have that objective evidence of that pattern of conduct. And that's exactly what this is. All right. I want to be clear. It's currently 9:33 a.m. The state engaging, just like I documented on my podcast last night, upon return to 630 North Fern, which is what I have continuously documented. The state is ceaselessly engaged in stalking and molesting with directed light. While, as you are hearing me read their license plates, they are doing what the entity is doing on a 24-hour basis. While I'm outside, while I'm inside of any venue, while I am inside of the car, while I am standing, for example, on any sidewalk, the state is engaging in molesting and stalking with directed light, which is not sunlight. While the state is stalking with a fake sun that's over this vehicle, those demons are doing what the state was doing last night, aiming directed light inside of the car where this entity knows that I'm sleeping. And obviously, that's exactly what directed light is revealing about you, that you are, first of all, demon possessed. It's demonic to stalk with light. All right. And second of all, you are literally engaging in what is absolutely demented and wicked. It's twisted at its core. That is revealing in and of itself that which is the threat that you pose to the public, to society. And by virtue of being documented as a group stalker, understand that's exactly how you're going to be prosecuted and what's going to be reflected with regard to your stance as whoever you identify yourself as. You're stalking with the government. License 5TJZ210. And that's revealing what federal group stalking and monitoring is and what it's about and what it reveals and how it shall be prosecuted. And that is based on the pattern of conduct itself. That's just based on what the government is doing, who it's doing it through, the methods that are employed in order to accomplish that, what is revealed about you and the government as that is underway. And that is then addressing that as a matter of law and prosecuting it as a matter of justice. Okay. It is currently 9:35 a.m. and this is the P.O.C. All right, the state is amplifying plane activity, just as you see Southwest Airlines, Frontier Airlines, UPS, Amazon Prime, FedEx, FedEx airline planes, hovering over me under the fake sun. That's exactly what they're doing on Fern Avenue, while the entity is aiming directed light, while the people of the state that are demon-possessed are crossing path on the streets. This is P.O.C. at 9:39 a.m., okay? All right, I did capture and still images. First of all, the state flying over 5 CVR 918. The state flying over the Fern Avenue, hovering and amplifying plane activity. That's audible activity and relevant positioning, stalking in airline planes over Fern Avenue, hovering over that street while the state's fake sun is directly over me. I took images of that. And like I mentioned in the videos I'm capturing while I'm moving in a vehicle on G Street, going down Palm, and the state's fake sun is moving from being over 630 North Fern remaining. And that is showing, again, you're looking at where I remain at the same time yesterday. I remain. That's how I'm able to capture the state stalking with helicopter flying in front of the vehicle. And I'm showing you what is the state's fake sun as I remain at 630 North Fern. This is before that time. And the state's fake sun remains stationary until after 4 p.m. All right, now we're moving from that location because I am moving from that location, 6AEA765. And what I captured in still images is a group stalker that crosses path. This is an old white man who is stalking. He's standing on the sidewalk, engaging in surveillance and monitoring with a communication device. So while the state is engaging in trying to stop me from uploading the podcast that I captured at the time of what is 9:35 a.m., that's what I state as the time, and I engage in using the internet, uploading that podcast, I am repeatedly logged out of that application. That is monitoring on a communication device. And this group stalker is remaining present on the side of the vehicle. And at the same time that I move, the most minor movement, he then walks by. He is crossing path. That's a demon that is doing so under what is the state's fake sun that remains over that venue of 630 North Fern. And again, it's 10:11 a.m. and the state's fake sun is over the Ontario Village Shopping Center, where I showed you yesterday in the morning. It was here earlier and followed me from 630 and remained back at the venue of 630 where it remained for the duration of the day. It's 10:12 a.m. and the state's fake sun is now over the Ontario Village Shopping Center. Those images are captured and that video is captured as the state's fake sun moves as I move. This is P.O.C. It's currently 10:12 a.m. 7ZYE925, Ontario Police, group stalking, license plate 1532799, license plate 8THB273. Ontario Police is in the parking lot under the fake sun at Ontario Village, patrolling with the rest of the demons. 6XSN525. All right, I did capture images, first of all, of what is relevant positioning in the store. The demons are lined up in front of the entrance where you see the state's fake sun is over me in the parking lot of the Stater Brothers, and Ontario Police also intentionally crossing path. They are all acting together, monitoring. This is called group stalking while they're lined up outside in front of the door of the entrance that I'm in front of, while the state's light source is directly over me in the parking lot, and direct conflict remaining over 630 North Fern until after 4 p.m. yesterday, like I captured. I did not move from 630 North Fern yesterday, and the state's fake sun is directly over me inside of the parking lot of the Stater Brothers, which is inside of Ontario Village, while the demons of the Ontario Police Department cross path at the same time. Okay, this is P.O.C. And so I took an image of what is relevant positioning inside of the grocery store. This is the monitoring conduct that they are engaged in together. That's a terrorizing threat. Understand the police engaging in crossing a path in the same way that the state engages in crossing path via helicopter, as I showed you at the Montclair Place. That's the mall. Where the state's fake sun was captured beside the J.C. Penney as we arrived there. That is the pattern of conduct by the entity engaging in terrorism together. All of them are demon possessed. This is a targeting system that I'm documenting. It's currently 10:17 a.m. and I am on the surveillance cameras, as well as all are the third parties who represent the people of the state inside of the venue who are monitoring and group stalking together. This is P.O.C. 10:17 a.m. This is relevant positioning and activity creation inside of the bathroom. Stater Brothers, where the fake sun is over the venue. This is the entity stalking in the bathroom. And I did capture an image of that. That's the state that's stalking inside of the bathroom, which is at Stater Brothers in the private space. Entering in to engage in stalking in the private space. It's 10:30 a.m. All right, you have another minion that tries to break into the door. That's activity creation, communication device in hand. This is patrolling, and that's with knowledge of what I'm doing inside of the private space. Again, these are demons who are then entering in to engage in the maintenance of elements on behalf of the state, stalking in the bathroom. 10:30 a.m. Exiting out the bathroom is crossing a path. In doing so with communication device, which you can also see in her hand. It's P.O.C. Alrighty, I am exited on camera at 10:32 a.m. An employee is crossing path, pushing a cart into the hallway where the bathrooms are. You have what is maintaining relevant positioning, aisle 4, aisle 6. This is where they are in relevant position while demons are patrolling in and out of the bathroom. And the state's fake sun is over the parking lot. This is indeed nothing other than stalking inside of the bathroom on behalf of the state. That is the sex offender that are the people of the state, the same demons who are crossing path while I'm in a vehicle where this entity knows that I am located, which is where the state places its fake sun over me and directed light inside of that vehicle while they are crossing path. They are crossing path inside of the bathroom while the state's fake sun is over the venue, while directed light is inside of the venue, and they are stalking in the path, okay? That is the sex offender where that pattern of conduct follows into the private space. And this is relevant positioning that I'm taking pictures of. They are all monitoring while that activity is followed into the bathroom with that intent to engage in interstate stalking inside of that private space. It is, again, 10:33 a.m. And you have what is Tracy Banks that is present monitoring with the rest of them, engaging in that same sexual violence with the rest of the demons whose names I don't know and I don't have to know. This is the government that I'm documenting, stalking all around, engaging in interstate stalking with communication devices inside of the venue that is Stater Brothers inside of Ontario Village Shopping Center, where the fake sun is over the parking lot. All right, as I showed while the Ontario Police Department crossed path, under that fake sun, that is in direct conflict with being over 630 North Fern from what is before the time that I arrived, minutes before, because remember 24 hours ago I showed you it was a state stalking by helicopter while I'm at 630 North Fern, and I showed you the fake sun. That's where I remained for the duration of the day until I showed you at approximately 4:27 p.m. I'm sorry, 4:30, around 4:25 to 4:27 p.m. The state's fake sun is over the village right now, over the Stater Brothers where I'm located, and that is stalking in the bathroom, okay? That's literally what they're doing. It is predatory and sexually motivated and entirely demented. And these are demons that engage in that conduct, all right? This is terrorism inside of that bathroom. It's 10:34 a.m. This is P.O.C. at Stater Brothers. 8FDW848, 8JGE408, 8KZG811, 8JUV578, 6N32853, 5AHK693, 7. Let's get that one done. Let me see. 7XUJ558. And I got that one already. 8DYS235. This is in Upland at 8th Street and Euclid Avenue at 11:01 a.m. And the state's fake sun is directly over me while I'm at that gas station. And I captured that on video as well. This is P.O.C. while the entity engaging in monitoring with the on my phone on the internet while I was standing in line at the grocery store. And I did step outside and document the third parties in the parking lot of Stater Brothers. I am nonetheless documenting them by virtue of their presence on surveillance cameras and engaging in both working there and completing purchases there, being in relevant position in the parking lot where surveillance cameras are present. The entity engaging in obstruction of justice, which is the P.O.C. by the way, where they are engaging in trying to obstruct the ability to upload that podcast of the third parties engaging in monitoring at the Stater Brothers. 7VRA269. It's 11:02 a.m. 7VPA786. On the 10 freeway, the state's fake sun is over the vehicle on the 10 freeway. 7HTB418, 8MME278, 8FMA032, 8KXB630, 6WPY419, 7FIP515, 7FZK450, 82250N2, 21710B3, or 83. Let me see if that's an 8 or a B. 19767H3, 8XNC353. That's operational communication device and direct light. 7WDE193, and it's audible activity creation in relevant position under the fake sun on the 10 freeway at 11:04 a.m.
Are you sure it's open today?
CHITA 11.
94.7 The Wave. Ed Sheeran says that the 2005 episode
6FRW961, 413U8. That looks like an Iowa plate. 719ZEG or ZFG, that's Nevada. 8KAG 202. 8DXN 190. AE45M75, that's paper on a black BMW. 8FLY149, passing the Ramada at Wyndham, that's off of G Street. This is where the States Fake Sun is over on the 10 freeway, moving over the vehicle as we are on the 10 freeway. 8TBB440, 8YRL084. Approaching what is the Archibald Avenue, Ontario Airport exit on the 10 freeway, going 10 east. And this is where the States Fake Sun is over me. 7ZFY165. 7H26779. 8JIM404. 6K78997. OAXXV06. 8GV400. 8GDV400, excuse me. And that is a gray Mercedes-Benz van, directed light across the brick wall while they are driving in relevant position on the freeway. Directed light across the brick wall. That's impossible light activity. That's a P.O.C. 7UFE844. 8LQR. I can't say the rest of them. 5BCD237. 8TEC241, 7RVJ130, 8GSE422. 7EQD776. 8GRZ713. This is the exact same entity that was patrolling into the bathroom at Stater Brothers, that was stalking in relevant position, 8WNA610, inside of the grocery store while those demons patrolled inside of the restroom. Under the fake sun at the Stater Brothers, this fake sun is over me now on the 10 freeway. This is the exact same entity. Also engaging in obstruction of justice, 5GGB457, 8UOT848. The same entity stalking while I'm inside of the vehicle that yesterday remained at 630 North Fern, where the fake sun remained, G235FY. LYNESS, and directed light on the brick wall while they're stalking in the path, 8RCF844, 8UPZ497. 3132-354, that's a main plate on a large truck. It says Hardy Brothers. This is a trailer carried by Hardy Brothers. VIN KJ28823. 6TSN844, in case I didn't read that one already, I think it did. Alright, it's currently 11:08 a.m. The back license plate, BL3586, that's Oklahoma, on a Frito-Lay truck. US.1421875. Again, this is on the 10 East Freeway where the States Fake Sun is moving, remaining over me through the window in the vehicle. No comparison whatsoever to being over 630 North Fern, RXKDS, I believe, 6VHR600. And target is crossing path on the 10 freeway as well, using a commercial vehicle. License 8BRF061. It's 11:08 a.m. Directed light inside of the car while 4NOP913, 8CAD246 cross path. 8JPP017. 5SSV447. It's 11:09 a.m. 6ZNE012. 6Z92420, 7LZA215. The state flying over the freeway, and that looks like Southwest Airlines. right, showing video of what is the state flying over the 10 freeway. That's the pattern of conduct. And Amazon Prime crossing path in that video as well, 5LXE836. It is currently 11:11 a.m. No, thank you. And that is indeed Southwest Airlines that's hovering over the freeway as I captured on video. License plate 8MFZ359. In case I did not read that one correctly, it's 8MFZ359. Walmart crossing path being carried by CR England Trucking. 29173V2. And I did just capture video of the state's fake sun, 1652072, I believe, 8NFL616. The state's light source that's remaining over me through the window on the vehicle where we're on the 10 East Freeway, now in the city of Fontana, following from 630 North Fern. 8PFW357. Alrighty, and that is, again, understanding what is the psychopath. That is the demon-possessed stalker. That is the government and the people of the state. That is also the sex offender stalking into a bathroom. And again, the psychopath is stalking where I sleep. The sex offender is stalking where I'm in a private space. The psychopath is engaging in obstruction, trying to obstruct the ability to publish that evidence. Bell cab on the freeway, 3502E2, I believe, substantially similar. That's Bell Cab, the same group stalker at the Ontario airport. And that is also Southwest Airlines stalking over the freeway under the fake sun. All right, that's the ongoing evidence of what it's targeting. 8VYZ for, I can't really see that when you can scratch that, 35661X2. And it is currently 11:13 a.m. 8NFL616 is crossing path again. See, 8THT705. YHTRE. Currently 11:13 a.m. 8 SIU 534 at Sierra Avenue on the 10 freeway, just like you hear the phone, which is audible activity, by the way, an operation of a communication device and direct delay.
Keep left at the fork, then use any lane to turn slightly left onto Sierra Avenue.
We got a few minutes.
It's 11:14 a.m.
It's that simple.
35661X2, 7SFT. I can't really see that one. 8TFE458, 8XMV665, 5LXE836, 05687F2, 5STL072, 8VOJ355.
Use any lane to turn slightly left onto
This is
Sierra
the state's fake
Avenue.
sun in Fontana. And again, the state's fake sun remained in Ontario yesterday, over the street, over the vehicle, at this time until after 4 p.m. 22708T1. It's 11:15 a.m. 7YJR826, 8VAU610, 5DTZ877, 7FDJ373, 8D, I can't see that one, 3XDB714, 7DKP136, 7KHX165, 8TME207, 7XVT336. It's 11:15 a.m.
I went to my friends at Laser Eye Center and had LASIK.
7ZRU158, 8V56375, 8NGD691, 65697R2, 8SCK155, 6UIC607, I think I read that one, 3XSG899, 7WPM769.
Right now. Plus, they have zero down, zero financing plans.
On what is Valley Boulevard and Inland Empire Center, looking at America's Best Value Inn and Suite, looking at what is the Burlington Fallas, the Cardenas, the Goodwill. This is where the state's fake sun is right now in Fontana.
Laser Eye Center uses the very best
Right over me, over the vehicle.
results, not the old technology the other places use. So call now.
6P9DY, that's Utah.
1-800-688-0909. That's 800-688-0909. Again, 800
7 EDH 697.
Laser Eye Center.
With just one spray of Microban 24, your hard surfaces are sanitized for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
12 hours?
24 hours.
Wow.
License 8YGZ751, directed light while that vehicle approaches at the red light.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV.
And I'm the girl from that alien movie, Watch on Demand.
Alright, capturing on video, Southwest Airlines flying directly over the vehicle while the fake sun is directly over the vehicle in Fontana, inside of this shopping plaza that we entered inside of at 11:17 a.m. And again, that was Southwest Airlines flying over the freeway under the fake sun while Amazon Prime was stalking in the vehicle adjacent. These are the commercial actors stalking on behalf of the government. Also doing so with knowledge of the fact that they're being documented. This is how commercial actors are engaging in the exact same terrorism and stalking activity. It is demon possession. License 8KEP 140. 7GRC 561. 6TJC 025. It's 11:18 a.m. It is 11:19 a.m. And again, this intersection is at the this shopping plaza where the fake sun is over the windshield in Fontana is at Inland Empire Center and Valley Boulevard. 8XWM 427.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn left onto Sierra Avenue.
8LHZ 596 7KWN 508 17611 F2. Alrighty, showing what is Sierra Avenue and Valley Boulevard. 7TMN 239. And while at that red light, the state's fake sun is directly in the window. And I took a picture of that intersection, and I also took a picture of the intersection where the plaza that we entered into, where the movie theater is located, the Burlington Coat Factory. License 12603Z1.
Sierra Avenue for 2 miles.
89946C1. 52556M2 2911OK1 at Marigold and Sierra Avenue at 11:21 a.m. And I've already shown you on video where the state is advancing north, remaining in the window of the bus. This is what the state is doing while I'm on Sierra Avenue, heading north. 7861G3, I believe. Let's see. 78611G3. 89946C1. 8RQE339. 8JKB296. 8WTG431. See, 8MBB616. That is 78611G3, yeah. 4X31750. Passing the Fontana Swap Meet Plaza. All monitoring 6JLA142. 55196. I'm sorry, 55196B3, I believe. 55196B1. 7PWM236. 7TSJ601. 8LWS923. Directed light on the curb while they're driving by. 8SXX281 while the fake sun is behind the vehicle. 7B25958. 8DCL495. Understand what this is? This is patrolling with directed light while they cross path. 7JMA570. 8SHP203. 7LZA135. BR66Y42. That's paper. 8HRN698. 29641Y2. 7RXS005. 7PDB257. And it's 11:23 a.m. LOOPY97. 19767H3, directed light, 7N99088. At Randall Avenue and Sierra at 11:24 a.m. 11655D3, 7DUP286.
Why does that girl look like Morgan?
Wow. 6BLA354, 6CAV905. Seven UIH741. Are you talking about Morgan Amanda Smith?
Yeah. Look just like her.
She's a third party. Let's see. License plate 6POU197, 6ATG555. 8EYJ279, 6EQH752.
Wow, that place is.
29247X2 at the 76 at Merrill and Sierra Avenue. You're passing to 7VES802 right back there at the corner. I mean, you can go to the next one because of 7UGZ. I'm sorry, 8UGZ73. I'm sorry, 8UGZ676. 7LLP914, 8USV351, 8SWT021, 8VJF305, 8ASD361. I already read that one. It's 11:27 a.m. Let's see. 6T44232, 8SJG732, 7EQM928, 8U35188, 70563G3. 6XXB123. I think there should be something over here. Up here.
There's a Stater Brothers.
They don't sell.
300 feet at the traffic circle.
But there's 7KYV290, 7RMK389, 7DNX528. All right, the State's Fake Sun, which I captured on video. This is the Circle K located at 169000 Foothill Boulevard in Fontana. And I am on surveillance camera inside of that venue at 11:32 a.m. where I complete my purchase. And I also step outside and take a picture of the fake sun as I exit the venue facing traffic, which is on Foothill Boulevard. That's relevant positioning. They're all monitoring with the state. That's why the fake sun is over me in the city of Fontana. In direct conflict with being over 630 North Fern. That is, if that was the actual sun. It is not. The state of California is stalking with a fake sun, which is entirely demented and unheard of. The state of California is practicing what is a satanic targeting system, and they are engaged in interstate stalking with the people of the state. 8GQW559, 8PPM480. And this is the location of the video that I capture with the fake sun over the vehicle while I'm in that plaza. And I do complete a purchase at a facilitating venue. That is that Circle K. It is an African-American female that is inside of that venue in relevant position. Directed light is on the floor inside of that store. That's light activity. Again, when you're understanding stalking with a fake sun and stalking with directed light, that's light activity that's never going to occur, where the state is keeping what's supposedly the sun, which you understand it is not, keeping it over me, first of all, over 630 North Fern, let alone over the venues that I'm already inside of. At this time, I'm already inside of the Oba Family Community Library, for example. I'm remaining at the B&G Plaza, for example, on Holt Boulevard in Ontario, California. That is directed light that the state is also aiming, which is not going to occur where a light source is above a structure. That is light that is being aimed horizontally through in order to touch on the floor space. All right, that's stalking with light. License 8UIH392, 8XAV843. All right, and that's also why the state is aiming directed light while the demons that are the third parties who I'm identifying by license plate cross path. All right, 8HBR401. And it is currently 11:35 a.m. 6TDT380, 7BNM. I can't see the rest of it, you can scratch that. 7BRT963. And again, this entity engaging in obstruction of justice, engaging in monitoring. All right, this is what the entity is engaging in. They're monitoring with communication devices on behalf of the government. and engaging, and while doing so, engaging in obstruction of justice, trying to, engaging in monitoring on my phone, and engaging in interruption of internet connectivity, operation of my functions on my phone, that is repeatedly logging me out, stopping the ability to upload the podcast that I documented of the license plates that I documented at the venue of the Stater Brothers, where the people of the state were stalking inside of the bathroom. Yep, go right over here. This is the same exact entity, and again, you're looking at the futility of that. I'm going to document the same entity, which is exactly what I did, including Southwest Airlines that went out of its way to hover over the freeway, to hover over the plaza off of Valley Boulevard and Sierra Avenue. That is a very vivid illustration of the targeting conduct, while those demon-possessed actors representing that company are aware of the fact that they're being documented. 6WJN584, and doing so under the fake sun, in direct conflict with being anywhere in the city of Ontario where Southwest Airlines is routinely documented flying over my head while I remain in that city of Ontario. All right, that's the P.O.C, and that is speaking to what is draining the pockets of commercial actors who are stalking and terrorizing in concert and on behalf of the government. It is 11:37 a.m.
200 feet, your destination will be on the
All right, patrolling under the fake sun at the Fontana Lewis Library. All right, and where you're looking at documentation of what is remaining over me all day long with a fake sun on a specific portion of a street in one city for the duration of the day, and then moving all around, going through the cities and the state, keeping the fake sun, including over me on the freeway. You are understanding what are the stalkers that are the people of the state, as I've already shown. All right, I'm showing them in their raw form: violent sex offenders, obsessed, demon-possessed stalkers, those whose name I do know, i.e. 4WN432, and those who I do not I don't know. I'm identifying these demons by license plate, and those demons are going to be prosecuted in what is a forum in the natural, identified by their government names, where they're monitoring with the state of California. And that's why the fake sun, as I captured on video, is present over the Fontana Lewis Library, which is impossible to coexist. It is not also remaining over 630 North Fern, as I showed in video after video yesterday, in addition to all the documentation that already exists with the ongoing cumulative documentation of the state following with a fake sun. All right, DAJIMZ, 4RRP 542, 5PUX 976, 7XGG 883, 6WJN 584, 7UAN 748, 7XQK 881. And the demon affiliated with DAJIMZ, he just walks up. He's crossing path while walking past me in the parking lot. As he opens his door, this is a demon creating activity. While they cross path, and engineered light, directed light moves across the surface. And so that is a demon that gets into that license plate, DAJIMZ. They're stalking, and that's all you are doing under a fake sun and in directed light. The entirety of an entity is focused on me, including focused on me when I am in a private space, which is represented by such as a hotel room, where the entity is engaging in ceaseless surveillance and the elements of monitoring, demons that are monitoring and stalking, and doing so, that is the sex offender inside of the private space. All right, and doing so inside of bathrooms, like Stater Brothers demonstrated again. And then that sex offender tries to obstruct your ability to publish that documentation. That's the psychopath and the sex offender. License 5V QZ564. Understand, that's not only the sex offender, that's the one that I'm also documenting, engaging in what is obstruction of justice, trying to block the ability to publish it. And that's the futility of what is the government. But you're understanding what is the necessity of that federal policy that I advocate, because this is the conduct of the psychopath that is demon-possessed the state of California. Literally a demon-possessed entity monitoring American citizens, doing so with the demon-possessed entity that is the people of the state of California, under what is a fake sun in the city of Fontana, following from 630 North Fern to the city of Fontana every step of the way, including the demons operating and identified by the company of Southwest Airlines, going out of its way to fly over the vehicle on the freeway, fly over the vehicle in the parking lot in Fontana at Valley and Inland Empire Center, doing so under what is the fake sun that's directly over me. That is the unmistakable direct evidence of targeting by a commercial actor, that is Southwest Airlines, which I'm demonstrating when I'm in the city of Ontario and Southwest Airlines. And Southwest Airlines is just one example. The commercial airlines, Alaska Airlines, Delta Airlines, FedEx, UPS, Amazon Prime, Frontier Airlines. I have documented United Airlines. These are the actors that are representing the people of the state who are stalking, monitoring in violation of Title 18. And this is a demon-possessed entity that is doing so, monitoring one person, and I'm documenting it. While Southwest Airlines provides that documentation, you are thoroughly understanding what it is that I have already documented, I have already revealed, okay? A license plate of the third party, the last license plate that I recited, they are crossing path while the state sounds sirens under what is a fake sun and an engineered light. That's the P.O.C. Okay, it is currently 11:47 a.m. Capturing images of, that's the group stalker that is in the license plate that I already recited. She is crossing path while the state sounds sirens. That's how the people of the state engage in what is terrorism, all right? They are crossing path while audible activity is created under what is a fake sun and indirected light, which I also captured an image of. This is light activity that's not going to result, by the way. When you remember, the state kept a fake sun over Ontario, over 630 North Fern, over the vehicle of 4WON 432 that I was inside of. That's light activity that's not going to occur under any circumstances because that is not the sun, but you're also understanding even using what is the absurd conduct that the state engages in. It's not going to be present where the state is keeping the fake sun in the city of Ontario over Fern Avenue at the intersection of G Street and Fern. All right, so this is pacing around at the venue of Fontana Lewis Library in directed light while the state sounds sirens, and also crossing path while the state sounds those sirens. This is P.O.C. It's 11:49 a.m. and I did capture those images, and you just have another demon doing the exact same thing. All right, it is P.O.C. All right, 12:12 p.m. showing you what is directed light that is being projected. And this is how you see my upright shadow on the wall. That is impossible light activity, by the way. When light is coming, ordinary, normal light, normal circumstances, light that is occurring from what are lights above you through the ceiling. For example, I'm inside of a library. Your shadow would be on the ground. But in addition to that, ordinary light is under ordinary lit conditions, is actually not going to create a shadow on the carpet inside of the building. You are looking at, and what I have documented is what is engineered light. This is what is, first of all, creating shadows on carpets inside of, for example, the Ovid Family Community Library, and where I am right now, the Fontana Lewis Library. But again, you're also understanding this is projected light. It tells you the trajectory of light. It is also that which is impossible light activity. You see the fake sun that's over the Fontana Lewis Library, which you already know is not the sun. It's not both remaining over 630 North Fern over the car, aiming directed light precisely into that car, aiming directed light all across 403 West G Street and 325 West G Street, surrounding me, in other words, with directed light, while also being over the roof of the Fontana Lewis Library. And then, as I showed you in my video at 11:50 a.m. at the Fontana Lewis Library today, this is going to create what is shade. There's not going to be, in other words, light that's going to project and just appear from the shade that's going to naturally occur. If the actual sun, in other words, was actually over the sky space above the library, which would not be hovering over the Fontana Lewis Library, the actual sun would set the building on fire. If that was the actual sun you see hovering over the Fontana Lewis Library, what I'm showing is also stalking in the path. All right, and doing so while I also show you the light activity while that relevant positioning is ongoing. That is also revealing what is demon possession. This is conduct on behalf of the state, let me be clear, and that is also state action when you're looking at what is directed light. That's indicative of the state, that is indicative of what is the ongoing P.O.C, and that is also documentation of what is terrorism, and that's what I captured on video. It's 12:14 p.m. inside of the Fontana Lewis Library, and also what you're going to pay attention to, it is dim inside of the computer lab. The ordinary business practices are to turn the lights on. What Fontana Lewis Library is doing as it is open for business right now, you have what is having the computer laboratory lights off. This is serving for what is their demonic behavior of what is using it as a means of light activity to stalk with activity, using the lights that are off, turning them on. And ordinarily, you're going to have the lights on already, and that is also that which is dangerous with regard to something that is foreseeably going to result in some manner of a tort, or at least somebody being able to claim a tort when you do not have well-lit conditions and someone could claim injury. This is all of which I'm just pointing out, just having knowledge of the law, that which is outside of what is ordinary business practices, where I am an invitee at what is a public establishment and they do not have the lights on. They're engaging in the state's pattern of conduct, and in addition to not having the lights on, it's serving for the criminal pattern of conduct of stalking with light, which is terrorism. But also in addition to that, you have what is directed light that you see in the dimly lit, no lights on inside of the computer lab, which is impossible light activity as well while stalking in the path. It's currently 12:15 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, I did capture video at 2:47 p.m. Drawing another illustration at a specific moment where I showed you, for example, 2:47 p.m. on December 25th. The state's fake sun is precisely aimed over the property of Motel 6 in the city of Ontario, where the state is also aiming directed light inside of that vehicle, where I remain at that time. And then the state's fake sun early in the morning is present at 8:47 a.m. And that is, again, understanding the impossibility of that. First of all, that's not the sun, but the state's pattern of being present over a particular venue where I'm at. Because it is not the sun, you are going to analyze it based on what the actual sun would do and where it would be and the conduct of the sun. And the sun is not remaining over a property from 8:47 in the morning until after 2:47 p.m., which is what the state is suggesting, as it has the fake sun over me at 2:47 p.m. at that Motel 6, which I documented on video on December 25th, 2021. I did show you yesterday also, which was January 1st, 2022, the state's fake sun that remains over me at this time, which is 2:47 p.m. And I captured a second video so that I wanted you to see the object itself, the object of what is the fake sun that remained over me, which I showed on video as of 8:30 in the morning. And then I remained there in the afternoon, 2:47 p.m. And I'm showing you what is the state's fake sun. And it is remaining over Fern at the specific portion of the street on Fern Avenue in the city of Ontario, where I remain stationary, which is also seen as the state remains with the fake sun object over Fern Avenue, aiming directed light precisely inside of that vehicle, where the demon-possessed are engaging in crossing a path, creating light activity inside of that car, which is how they are engaging in the ongoing pattern of conduct. The state's fake sun is over the Motel 6 in the city of Ontario, over 630 North Fern, over the vehicle that I remain at 2:47 p.m. And the state's fake sun, as I captured right now on video today, January 2nd, 2021, over the Fontana Lewis Library, which you see in video following from 630 North Fern Avenue in the city of Ontario on the 10 freeway in the city of Upland, remaining precisely over me while traveling, even going beyond the Fontana Lewis Library up to the Foothill Plaza at the intersection of Sierra Avenue and Foothill, and then remaining over me as we go back to the Fontana Lewis Library, where the state is present with its fake sun upon arrival, and remaining at 2:47 p.m., which is mutually exclusive. If that was actually the sun, I would never be able to capture it over the Motel 6 in the city of Ontario. This is the ongoing pattern of conduct, speaking to the stalking conduct of Fontana police who are on video crossing path. They are fully aware, and you know this by virtue of the presence of directed light and a fake sun that is squarely over me, remaining over me, and with knowledge of the fact that I documented that demon in the position of law enforcement, identified as Fontana Police Department. They again cross path through the parking lot while the fake sun is over the Fontana Lewis Library, and I am drawing that contrast, reminding you about 2:47 p.m. at Motel 6, 2:47 p.m. at 630 North Fern in the city of Ontario, and this is the ongoing P.O.C. Those are just illustrations, examples, where you can go all the way down to the specific minute and hour what the state is doing with a fake sun, which you see vividly again today, where the state literally went from city to city, remaining over me while I'm en route on the freeway, after remaining stationary over 630 North Fern, literally over the car, until after 4:27 p.m. and then remaining over me in alignment with me, perfect alignment with me, beside the JCPenney while I'm in the parking lot of the Montclair Plaza Mall. All right, it is 2:54 p.m. That is P.O.C.
Tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. Thank you.
That's audible activity in directed light, where the state is aiming its fake sun and its directed light inside of the computer lab. And that's video that I captured at 4:28 p.m. And you're just going to recall 24 hours ago. And what is pursuant to the ongoing pattern of stalking with a fake sun, remaining with a fake sun. The state follows from 630 North Fern, and in direct conflict with that, suggesting that's the sun that remained over 630 North Fern. The state I'm capturing in video in real-time movement from 630 North Fern after I am sitting and showing you what are still images of the state's fake sun directly over the car, aiming direct light inside of the car in Ontario. The state's fake sun over the Arco in Upland at 8th Street in Euclid. The state over me on the 10 freeway, the 10 East freeway, remaining over me inside of the Inland Center Shopping Center in Fontana off of Valley Boulevard and Sierra Avenue. Over me, remaining perfectly over me in alignment with me through the vehicle, through the windshield, through the window at Foothill and Sierra at the Foothill Plaza, and which is advanced beyond the Fontana Lewis Library, but it is in conformity with remaining directly over me. All of this is mutually exclusive as to what I documented yesterday, which is showing how this is not the sun that remained over 630 North Fern over the vehicle in the city of Ontario. And then I'm showing you what is at 4:27 p.m. 24 hours ago, Okay, the state's fake sun is captured in video where the state is aiming directed light precisely into that vehicle, remaining visible over the gate at 403 West G Street, while I'm showing you in video while I sit inside of the car. And the demons that are the people of the state drive by, creating light activity inside of that car. And then in real time in video, you see what is driving west on G Street at 4:38 p.m. And the state's fake sun is moving to maintain alignment from 630 North Fern to what is the Bellevue Memorial Park at the intersection of Benson and G Street, right? And then I'm showing you, I take a still image when we arrive at the Montclair Place. That's the mall in Montclair, California. And the state's fake sun is right there next to the J.C. Penney. The state is aiming directed light across the buildings in the parking lot. And I'm showing you also what is the state that is flying over by helicopter at that mall. This is the state's fake sun 24 hours later from that at 4:27. This is video at 4:28 p.m. And you are looking at, first of all, what is directed light that the state is touching the blinds with. You can see the light patterns. And the state is aiming directed light, not only inside, touching the surfaces. Again, this is stalking with light, engineered light. Inside of the venue, touching the windows, touching the window frames is a method of stalking with directed light. And also, as I show you outside of the window, what is the object that is hovering over the building across what is Lerner. That's a street right here at the parking lot outside of the library, of the Fontana Lewis Library, which is not in alignment with being over the fence of 403 West G Street. That is not going to be in alignment with where I'm sitting inside of that car at that address in the city of Ontario. But this is what I'm showing you 24 hours later from yesterday, where the state was at that position where I was in the city of Ontario, and the state is maintaining that same positioning where I am inside of the building that is the Fontana Lewis Library. That is stalking with light. That is terrorism. That is entirely conduct of demons. It's demonic. It's what the government is doing. That's what the people of the state are doing. And that announcement is a method of audible activity with which these demons at this venue use to stalk while they are monitoring and surveying everything that I'm doing on my phone and physically moving while they are acting pursuant to what is the demonic behavioral patterns. All the noises that you hear these demons making, they're doing it in engineered light while in relevant position. It is the P.O.C. And that is video that I did capture. It's currently 4:34 p.m. And that is not the sun that would be maintaining, first of all, alignment with me. Also aiming directed light. In other words, this is not going to be any sort of light that's going to appear on the windows inside of the venue of the Fontana Lewis Library, where I showed you after remaining over 630 North Fern, over the street, over the car in Ontario. You have what is then acting as though this is the sun that is setting. Well, if that's the sun that's setting, what is west of 630 North Fern, it's certainly not visible over the Fontana Chamber of Commerce building, visible through the window of the Fontana Lewis Library, such that it is aiming what is supposed to be sunlight through the window frames and touching on the windows. That is not the sun, and that is not sunlight, and that is not going to be visible. I do not have the uncanny ability to capture that perfect alignment, and you can just also take a look at a map. All right, this is stalking with a light source, which is a fake sun in the state of California, because you are also remembering that this is 4:28 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which would be the maintenance of what's supposed to be the sun in the state of California, in Southern California, in San Bernardino County, also remaining in alignment with me. Right, that is to the exclusion of every other state, because being in the window of Fontana Lewis Library, remaining over the gate visible at 403 West G Street at this time, 4:28 p.m. is to the exclusion of anywhere over the sky space in the state of Nevada, in the state of Texas, and in the state of Arizona, in Northern California, in Los Angeles County, in Florida. All right, you're talking about what is the maintenance of what is supposedly the sun in the state of California in San Bernardino County, directly over me and in alignment with me for the duration of a day. That is called stalking with light, and it is entirely demonic. This is documentation of what is terrorism by government and by the people of the state. And this is a state facilitating venue, the Fontana Lewis Library, where I did capture that venue. It's currently that video is currently 4:36 p.m. This entity engaging in ongoing terrorism. While I'm at it, let me mention that while I'm sitting at computer number FLON. I'm sorry, that is FON. PL02, which is on surveillance camera, that as I sit there, the state using the surface, which is the computer screen right next to me, FONPL03, to repeatedly aim directed light. This is flashing, flickering light that's appearing on the computer screen, which is right next to me, which is absolutely impossible light activity. It is documentation of what is terrorism. It is also speaking to what are the presence of demons who surround, monitoring while that light activity is present inside of the venue. And I show you the fake sun over me upon my entrance. I show you the fake sun as I am remaining inside, which is all I show you the fake sun as I arrive en route to this venue, all of which is impossible to that even being the sun that would even remain over a single street, over a vehicle, maintaining light inside of that vehicle all day long in the state of California, in Ontario. Okay, this is the P.O.C. It's 4:37 p.m. Alrighty, it is currently 4:47 p.m. I want to document a couple of things. First of all, group stalker on computer number FONPL07. The name that I see on that computer screen, by the way, it was Ronald Gaitlin, Gaitlin. This is a group stalker who was engaged in surveillance inside of that private space, and also on surveillance camera inside of the library. I also took an image of what is at 4:47 p.m. a group stalker. This is he's also loitering. He's been engaged in surveillance, and he's engaged in bathroom monitoring. This is a violent sex offender and a demon-possessed one who was present in directed light in the computer lab while the state is aiming a fake sun over the Fontana Chamber of Commerce building and aiming directed light inside of that venue while he's in operation of a communication device. These are demons. 4 LTW 949 included. Stalking in the path, monitoring with Fontana PD. In the same directed light that's touching on the amphitheater, the Miller Amphitheater, which is not going to occur where the state is aiming a fake sun in alignment with me on what is Fern. And then at the Montclair Plaza, right there at the 10 freeway, you have what is aiming, the fake sun is right there by the J.C. Penney. That's what I took a picture of. And the state is aiming directed light all over the mountains. All right, so you're recalling this light activity in that demon that I capture an image of stalking in the path, engaging in bathroom monitoring while the state amplifies audible activity inside of the bathroom. Upon my most minor movement, that is stalking with activity, audible activity, in directed light, which I've captured substantial video of today inside of that venue, 8NBL007, they're all in relevant position monitoring with the Fontana Police Department and the entity that's engaged in group surveillance inside of a private space, while directed light is touching on the surfaces around, which is the Miller Amphitheater. Absolutely impossible light activity. It is also mutually exclusive. It's not going to be aiming light inside of that computer lab. And then also what is onto the mountains out here. You're talking about what is just touching all around with directed light. And I'm also remaining in the city of Ontario and then going west to what is Montclair. And that's what this demon is doing, creating audible activity in directed light. That's 7AMB111, 8RLW872, 8RMK741, CA50K08, that's paper. And they're all sex offenders monitoring, engaging in surveillance inside of a private space. That's why the state creates with simultaneity to what it's listening and surveilling that I am doing inside of a bathroom. That includes when your panties are down, when your genitalia is exposed, when you're engaging in a private activity. 5CBR222. And like I stated, I did capture an image of that group stalker that was engaging in bathroom monitoring, stalking, and surveillance on behalf of the state inside of the computer lab where directed light remains, where the state is aiming its fake sun, where I have been capturing the state's directed light and the state's fake sun present and remaining over that venue. Let me be clear. First of all, that light source is, first of all, hovering over the Fontana Lewis Library, just like I have already shown, like I was speaking to earlier. Second of all, you have what is present. I'm present at 11. The state is just engaging in this incremental movement of what is supposed to be over the roof, which is not the sun. That roof, the Fontana Lewis Library, in other words, is not over the same sky space. You are not mutually standing over, I am not, in other words, capable of capturing directly over my head that which is supposed to be the sun while I'm at 630 North Fern Avenue. It's asininity, like I said, okay? And it is revealing what are sex offenders. 7AMB111 uses its acceleration as a means of audible activity while that demon with a backwards hat on is crossing path communication device in operation. 6Z13186, 6VRR070. 7J30404. And let me be clear, the Fontana Police Department is not only in a relevant position, the Fontana Police Department, demon-possessed actors, 5YTG859, are sex offenders. They are mutually engaged and simultaneously engaged in that same group surveillance, monitoring as the demons that they are, maintaining real-time knowledge, and also as the entity that it is, engaging in surveillance as the government inside of what is a private space where the entity is stalking, and maintaining the elements of monitoring on communication devices with the people of the state. All right, that's the sex offender, and that is documentation of what is the Fontana Police Department as they track my every move under a fake sun and directed light. That same P.O.C. is following into the bathroom where the state is maintaining a soundtrack inside of that restroom as I engage in any sort of movement, which is exactly what they did. And that's why I took an image of what is a third party who represents the people monitoring with a communication device while Ronald Gaitlin is in the bathroom in relevant position, the men's restroom. 6WAZ005, 8KOJ001, 8YIS561, 4UJB995, BF78F03 paper, 7UJC149, 8YYF014, BF09K66. It's 4:52 p.m. and you recall at 4:38 p.m. I'm showing you yesterday when we are going west on G Street after the provision of a wealth of documentation with which I'm going to expose. It's going to be beyond California because, like I said, this is when you're understanding it gets to levels. So you're talking about California. Yeah, I'm prosecuting the entity, the government, California. But when you're stalking with a fake SIN, you're telling on everybody else because it is to the exclusion of every other state. So what is hovering over them in Memphis, Tennessee, as I spoke to on November 17, 2021, because it's not the sun. First of all, it's hovering over them, and I'm showing in Southern California during this time frame when young Dolph, which is information that hit headlines, which is speaking to the light activity that is published on the internet in surveillance video. They're under a hovering light source, and the state has a hovering light source over me, which is not the sun in Southern California. All right, so you're talking about what is exposing the nation, okay? And this is this provision of documentation where yesterday, we are going west on G Street after the state provided that documentation of keeping what is supposed to be the sun, and it's not. It's telling on the rest of the country, and you're talking about what is going on in the rest of the world because there's only one sun, and the U.S. is not the center of the universe. All right, neither is San Bernardino County where I am, but this is what the state is doing with a fake sun, and you have what is the state then following. And you are following in order to keep it in alignment with me through the windshield of the car while she is being Tracy Banks, the third party, is driving west on G Street, which I show you in video at the intersection of Benson and G Street. We are driving west. Understand, it's the city of Fontana where the state is present right now, aiming directed light on the Miller Amphitheater. That is not light activity that is ever going to occur while the state is in real time already documented, moving a fake sun west to maintain alignment with me where I am in the city of Ontario, going to the city of Montclair, where the state then moves its fake sun to go north and advance north on Central Avenue to be present by the J.C. Penney as I capture in a still image while I'm at the mall, where, by the way, the state flies over me in a helicopter while directed light is covering. That is not light that's going to occur at the Miller Amphitheater. This is common sense. This is common sense. All right. This is P.O.C. And like I said, they are all sex offenders, including the Fontana Police Department, whose police department, that agency, is right here in relevant position. They're on the same block. And I've specifically documented that venue as well, where the state had its fake sun over me at 9:46 in the morning, covering it up with clouds, and you still see the luminance of that light, the state's fake sun, being present here as I arrive later in the morning, being present here, visible in the parking lot across Lerner at 4:28 p.m. is direct evidence about that Fontana Police Department being puppets of Satan. It's demonic. That's a demonic environment. It is revealing their condition. It is revealing their criminal engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring. All of this is tethered documentation. None of it is separate. You're looking at a big picture. And those are sex offenders engaging in monitoring me inside of the bathroom. That's why the state is amplifying audible activity. They are sex offenders, just like you saw at the Montclair Plaza, all of those demons scattering around while they have multiple shadows and morphed sizes and shapes of their shadows. It is abnormal light that they are intentionally present and maintaining noise. Those are the criminal elements, in other words, of light, activity, and relevant positioning. Absolute violent sex offenders are the demon possessed. 7XMG385, 8AYY283, 7JHM406, 8YIS729, 7LNB172, 4ZTZ077, 8LSM123. And it's currently 4:56 p.m. The state is flying over in relevant position in a commercial airline plane right over the Citibank in front of me. This is not different at all from what the state is doing at a lower elevation, lacking any form by virtue of the Ontario airport. That's the state's rationale. They don't have any form. That they're stalking in airplanes, including 8MVZ630, monitoring with children. They're a car full of demons. While the state flies over by commercial airline plane. And I'm at Arrow and walking toward what is Sierra. License plate 7VNW586, 7XLD628, 01799X2. Those are the incredibly desperate and pathetic demons of Amazon Prime who just want attention. They know they're heavily documented. They're pathetic. They do that on purpose. 6SQT014. 7AVN732, that's the character of Satan who loses, all right, who is defeated and sees the evidence for themselves, and then they engage in more of that. It's the brazen futility and the imbecilic conduct of demons. CA5DKO8, who lose, you lose. So I don't know who they're trying to, it doesn't matter. I'm documenting it, okay? But like I said, they're monitoring and they see the documentation. That translates to what is terrorism by an idiot, okay? That idiot is Amazon Prime. They're demons. Carreras Torres here in relevant position. 8VXW092, 8HQV511, 7ZEE840, 6GRC486. I'm sorry, 6GRC668, 8TUF836, 8TXV712, 8YZA750, 8BFD794, 7FAJ436. I think I read 6RUA255. In case I didn't, there you go. They're group stalking. They're predators waiting to touch at the intersection. I'm going to read their license plates. They're monitoring with Carreras Torres, who goes out of its way to come from Ontario to be at the intersection right now. This is P.O.C. This is understanding the conduct of demons, and it is absolutely pathetic, okay? And you're seeing them in their raw form, psychopaths, losers, okay? I'm going to drag every single last one of them in federal court and reveal the danger that they are to society. All right, and then we're going to recall all the times they go out of their way, like Amazon Prime, to be in relevant position, and then they're going to regret it. All right, let me be clear. But that's Satan. Satan loses. 6PYK891. This conduct of Satan is to go 900 miles per hour off of the precipice. All right, knowing that they're going to die, but Satan just goes hard to the very end, and they lose. All right, it is a dead end. 8MNZ776, 6LVS828, CVD-DIT, that's an out of state, 8H27549. And Carreras Torres, again, that's the same company you're talking about for purposes of identifying the government acting commercially, stalking commercially, sexually violating commercially. In other words, demons that are driving commercial vehicles, crossing path, using commercial airline planes, crossing path, engaging in the elements of monitoring. Carreras Torres has been documented on video molesting, terrorizing with directed light on Holt Boulevard under the fake sun. All right, and that's the same Carreras Torres that's here from Ontario and Fontana. License plate, indirected light. License 8HZE438, 6YXL469. This one touching, this old fat face. License BT02X18 in a gray Durango. 6YXL469, in case I didn't read that one correctly. License plate 8RFX228. And let me get this one. 8FSE921. It is currently 4:59 p.m. 8HZE802. Carreras Torres stalking in the path at the Fontana Little Theater right here, using their hazard lights, creating whatever activity that they can. I've already documented them. They're done. It's fine. License, it's at 5 p.m. License 8GGD502. RMF930. Let's put over here. License, let me see. 7HUJ392. Just want to get these at a crossing path. 6MXN675, 8UVK623, 7WGJ055, 8Z61700, 6YCC089, 8VUT360, 66325M2, 70677Y1, 5ZW Z970, 8ECA728, 8JHH087, 7AHZ259, 8WJA586, 8XBY403. All right, I want to get these demons over here group stalking at Citibank. Citibank is at the intersection of Arrow Boulevard and Sierra Avenue. Psychopaths hop out, loitering in relevant positions, sitting in the car, engaging in surveillance, Satan listening to me, mention them, and they hop out, go to the ATM. That's called crossing a path, because there is nothing that you have for a legal argument stalking on behalf of the government. The pattern of conduct is already established. 7YKC001 on surveillance cameras, which I will also reference, because they don't have any form, even though I'm documenting on my podcast. All right, this is coinciding documentation. But I just want to be clear, there is no form. They don't have any. P.O.C. They don't have any. He goes and operates the ATM after sitting, loitering in relevant position while I am across the street, stalking the entire time. Going to an ATM, let me tell you what that is. It's engagement in the ongoing elements, crossing the path while they keep their reverse lights on. Right, while he gets out, they're keeping the reverse, they're stalking with light. 8MDS885, 5GRC143, 5LID199 on surveillance cameras, which I am also referencing. They're at Citibank, they're stalking, P.O.C. It is 5:03 p.m., by the way, while I am on the grounds of Citibank at Sierra and Arrow Boulevard, referencing surveillance cameras that I see. 6EQU401, 8CFF742, 7PYC080. Carreras Taurus does not go anywhere. They park in the parking lot of the Fontana Chamber of Commerce. That's called loitering in relevant position. 8, oh, I can't see that one. 7ZGP593. All right, it's currently 5:03 p.m. Oh, I do want to mention on my podcast, so I am up to date with regard to publishing all of my videos that I have accumulated since December 31st, 2021. And that December 31st, 2021 is a pivotal date because that's the date of exit from American Inn, 88KN 956. American Inn located at 755 North Euclid Avenue. A demon crossing path, stopping at the sidewalk that I am walking on is a method of stalking with light, and loitering in relevant position, waiting to cross path. And I will get that license plate right now. 8TMM252. And upon my exit of American Inn on December 31st, 2021, 6XX B399, 8FDVO42, 6VCD 404. ATMM2, oh yeah, I read that one already. ATMM252. 641WX handicap, 8S19941, 8PNA854, 7VCM719, 8RFL795, 7UPJ980, 7EEL, oh, I can't see that one, I'll get that one in a second. 56922M2, 7EEE165, PCBSTEL, 8SJY980, 67061W2, 7VQF 688, 8SUW121, 7RWJ633, 95090Y1, 7RFD595, 7EUA 486, I believe, 7HRM428, 8MLG 428, 8XDE441, 09418F2, 8SPX 987, 81912C2, and this one 7XFM199. Coming next to me in order to loiter in relevant position right here close. They're just coming closer to stalk. All they're doing is stalking, all right? They being the people, all they are doing is stalking. License 7WLP740, 8B43748, 8WUY405, 8DQP597, 8E42598, 6NPZ201, 8UFF367, 8XNB601, 8YLT236, 8GMV736, 8EEU477, 7LXT899, 6LQU881, 7UTX146, all of them molesting. This demon right here comes and uses their reverse lights. This is a method of touching with light. These demons that are patrolling, they're molesting together. 8VVF606. With license 7XFM199. They're sex offenders touching while they're stalking in the path, going to a facilitating venue, Casa Barreto. They can go to wherever they want. They're monitoring a relevant position. All right. License
And they're also molesting and touching me while they're carrying little children, engaging in stalking with the government. Okay, and I did capture an image of that fat face female who gets out of that vehicle, monitoring, carrying little Mennonite children with her while she is stalking somebody else. License RAMS 26. License 7WBC193. That's Omnitrans, of course. You know those demons very well. I'm going to put that company on the map and put it out of business. 1535427-1344, and not on the map for anything noble. Nothing good, not at all. They're not going to want none of that. License plate, it's 5:07 p.m. 22165B2. And again, I read the name of the venue where they are going in relevant position, they being the sex offender that touches with light, monitoring with the demons who are patrolling. Understand, it's the same engagement in the elements. Aiming light, crossing path through that light. That's what the state is doing with the fake sun, and these demons are crossing path while I'm being molested with light. That is the ongoing objective, and it is the conduct of sex offenders. That's what the demon possessed are aimed at. That's what their ongoing objective is. 8 VUD 593, 8 ZAS 662. 7 BSR 882, 62260Z1, 8 DVV 281, 8 EXU 088, 6 YZX 962, 8 DGD 857, 7 RUF 993, 6 JYS 176, 6 LHS 544, 8 BGF 393, 6 LMC 870, and it's 5:08 p.m. 5 KDL 616. I think I read that one just in case I did not. There you go. 7 TIX 279. And like I was stating, I exited B&G, I'm sorry, not B&G Plaza, excuse me, American Inn on December 31st, 2021, ALR 752. That's a Nevada plate. 7 ZVV 866. 8 UDL 653. 7 UVS 364. 7XQS 384. C 8COB, I can't see that, you can scratch that. 74430B3. 7WNG062, 7ZIX 743, 7CPM 891, 7VCM 587, 8RDP 709, 8SRN 324, 8UFL 301. Exited American Inn on December 31st, got a whole wealth of documentation of the state keeping its fake sun at the Bank of America, which is documentation showing how the state remained with its fake sun after I showed you that video at, I think at around 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And the state's fake sun covering it up while I'm on the patio, and I step out and I show you 7LMZ111, but I can't really see that one that clearly. It didn't go anywhere. And that's why I was able to capture the fake sun directly over me at the Bank of America. And I'm referencing December 31st, 2021, which is published in totality now. 8DLR084. That is directly relevant. Well, it's all relevant. Let me be clear. It's cumulative documentation. This is ongoing documentation of showing what is stalking with that which is entirely a fake sun, okay? Not the sun whatsoever. Very important documentation as to revealing what the government is engaging in. And the government is engaging in what is interstate stalking. The government is, in other words, is monitoring American citizens, monitoring with communication devices. The government is monitoring, and it is satanic. It's not, the government is engaging in what is satanic, demonic activity, okay? The methods employed, stalking with light, stalking as a group, stalking as an entity, that's demonic. All right, this engineered light, you're seeing the multiple shadows, that is the personification of demon possession. You're looking at it by their very conduct. 8H22954, 8LEL743, 7S32850, 7AQR650, 7PKE442, 8GIK750, 8XDE066, 8NWN542, I believe, 7G32453, 6GJD237, 8JKU608, 6K7H766, 7BCH915, 8SSP741, CA51N65 paper. And so the government is monitoring, and the government is monitoring with communication devices, doing so in concert with the people of the state. This is in violation of Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 2. But this is demonic activity, all right? And this is, like I said, it starts at the baseline. You need to understand this. These are demons. This is demon possession in operation, Satan in operation over an entire people. Now, you are talking about the ability to prosecute that which is rooted in demon possession, and understanding what is also public corruption corruption by virtue of that criminal system that's operated by a government in concert with the people. All right. But these are demons. And that is also going to be relevant to the ways in which they are prosecuted. Okay. And understanding and assessing the threats that they pose as what are psychopaths. That is the identity of what is a demon-possessed actor that is essentially living as a con. All right. These are dangers. They are a danger to society, which the very pattern of conduct demonstrates, by the way, and all the ways in which they engage in this sick, demented system as a group, engaging in what is an unspoken system amongst demons. All right. Demons in the natural, people that you're looking at, which you cannot see physically on them, their condition, which is a threat, which is demon possession. But you are able to deduce that, and you very well see it. You witness it by virtue of their conduct, by the environment that they're in, that they are in with knowledge that they contribute to. BU71N67, paper 8NTT624. And that's the pattern of conduct as I've shown it. That is the significance, D738YO, 5ZTB342, BRZA898, 7G50430, 8THF 565, 7HML 644, 8PHJ080, 8BWD 683, 8KQL 948, 8YBF 145, 7JJY 820, 8WMV 467, I believe, 5XOV 715, 8BZD 172. That's the significance of understanding what is stalking with light, because that's exactly what the entity is doing. All right, literally the government, because you're talking about what is demon possession, what is demonic activity. It is literally puppets of Satan, and that's what I'm revealing. They're all puppets of Satan. 8KHN688, and you're talking about what is that's very dangerous. It is terrorism. While puppets of Satan are in positions of government, while they are the very constituents of a state, all of whom together are engaging in a comprehensive targeting system. That's terrorism. 8HFU203, and that's what federal group stalking and monitoring is. All right. Let me get 8KVT375, molesting. All right, you got another demon over here. They're monitoring together. So that license plate, let me be clear, of this sex offender that's molesting at Valencia and Sierra right now, including as well 5DCB437, 6JYJ263, 7JVK750, and it's currently 5:14 p.m. So the state stalking with light, that is a method as you're listening to what is the conduct of sex offenders, constantly touching with light, stalking with light. All right, this is exactly what the hundreds of videos that I published on my YouTube channel called The Pattern of Conduct is revealing. When you're looking at what is this abnormal cartoon-like environment, this light, this directed light, it is engineered light. It's not normal light. Normal light is not creating an enlarged magnified size of your shadow. It's not multiplying your shadow. It's not placing your shadow in front of you. Normal light, that which is not engineered light. The state's light is engineered light. The state is placing engineered light inside of every public establishment. That's revealing a system. The state is placing engineered light inside of private spaces such as the bathroom. That's revealing a system that is sexually violent. Okay, that is revealing a system that is unspoken and that you can seamlessly engage in without having to address the target individual. This is not stalking where you need to know the group stalker's name. The stalker's name is the state of California. That's who's stalking. You know why? Because they're monitoring. The government is monitoring. All right, 8ASD361, terrorizing with the group stalker at Fontana Metrolink train station using their hazard lights. 8VJE305. That's terrorism. The entity engages in stalking with light. That is a method of stalking with light. It's creating light activity while you are being molested and surrounded with engineered light. That's what hazard lights are. That's what the entity is doing at the Fontana Metrolink train station. So let me get all these demons who are monitoring. They're monitoring with this demon that's creating that light activity. 8 YDD259, 8HBA020, 7VBT494, 3 SHZ162, 5 MHH873, 8 LMU792. And it's currently, by the way, 5:16 p.m. In case I did not read this one, I think I did. 8VJF305, I think I read that one, yeah. 6SNV436. What one third party is doing, they're not acting as individuals. What one third party is doing is speaking to the engagement with that third party, everyone else around you. So when the demon-possessed commercial actors such as Amazon Prime, UPS, the United States Postal Service, who are state actors, by the way, engage in using light activity, creating light activity, stalking in the path, and their form is that they're delivering mail to someone. They can deliver whatever they want. You can document the name of the building, because they're monitoring together, okay? In acceptance of that, whatever package it is, whatever it is, like I said, you can be delivering something as vital as a baby. There is nothing that is superseding the government's pattern of conduct where federal group stalking and monitoring is underway. Nothing. All right. And by the way, this is how demons operate. This is how the government system, this is how public corruption exists. It's in plain sight. And it is supposed to appear as though it is everyday normal life. And you are understanding the environment and the contribution to a very specific environment. And that's how they are systematically monitoring. And it is a malicious demon that you are encountering while you do so. 1545798, bus 2342. Like I said, you document whatever, however, wherever, and that is because you're dealing with the government, all right? You're dealing with Big Brother, who thinks that they can bully you. Oh, you're going to bring the justice system, the Americans, to the ordinary target individual, has a seat at the table and has every right to enforce their rights, all right? And you're talking about monitoring communication devices. You're talking about relevant positioning. You document whatever, however, wherever you can, 7SXU916, and that'll be handled. BU15R73. 18672G3, J09E14, 7KJB203, 8SRH925, BUZ1096, 8LQS284, 8XHJ574, 8KOA777, 53393B2 or 9382, 8PQM774, license plate 8YKJ583. All right, so like I said, that's a prime example, okay? That is quintessential of the conduct that demons engage into, going off at a distance and then turning on their hazards, engaging in molesting and then molesting me with light and then speeding off. They're acting as a group. First of all, you're documenting the government. The government's getting docked for everything. This is the government's pattern of conduct. They're not escaping anything. But second of all, you are talking about what is documenting the group. They're monitoring together. The demon that molests you with light that you are encountering, that you're looking at, that engages in that, you're talking about the demons that surround. They're stalkers. They're going to maintain presence all around you. And even if you don't see a person, identify the venues where you are surrounded, because those demons are inside of that venue, maintaining presence. You identify the company, because this is what the government is doing. The government is using companies, brands, organizations, institutions. Okay? I was monitored at Cal State University, San Bernardino. Okay, monitored the entire time. I was monitored at Ave Maria School of Law. I was monitored at Whittier Law School in Orange County, California, Costa Mesa. Keeping a fake sun over me in Orange County. 8YCR819. That's an institution. All right, the demons fill that venue, being professors, being students, being vendors, being whatever it is that their position is in the natural. They're demons. It's an ongoing state system. And it is public corruption rampant. You document whatever you have at your disposal, all right? And that is by virtue of the fact that you are being attacked. That's literally, your life is being threatened by the government itself. The government. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna go off on that. My point being is that on December 31st, when I leave American Inn, this is pivotal documentation because what I used to, let's know that I'm getting on the bus or something. Or are you leaving? It's currently 5:20 p.m. One moment, please. Okay, 7LZM114. And it's currently 5:24 p.m. The point that I was making, and then I'm going to wrap this up because I am on the bus number 1222, and it's 5:24 p.m. And I did say hold on because I was boarding the bus, which is where I boarded at the Fontana Metrolink train station. So I'm now headed back toward Ontario. So with regard to December 31st, again, I am speaking about everything that I just was discussing in addition to as you hear me documenting license plate at the same time. I'm doing that because what the entity is engaging in, which is stalking with light, is speaking to in every way, stalking with directed light, stalking with the fake sun. It is all methods of the same thing. This engineered light is instrumental, it is central, it is key with regard to what is a demonic system of targeting, monitoring with communication devices, which the government is not doing it by itself. It is the government's pattern of conduct, though. So this is stalking by an entity. This is monitoring by an entity. This is criminal conduct by an entity, a public entity, the state of California. And it is demonic at its core, okay? Meaning everything that they are doing as they are doing it, it is of the demonic. Stalking with light, engaging in stalking somebody. If you can understand the ominous stalking activity of the people of the state, Satan looking to the left or looking to the right or keeping their back to you, or engaging like they're changing the diaper on their baby while they are totally focused on you. That's demon possession. Okay, understand. Satan is operating using people. That Satan is a spiritual. Satan is a spiritual influence over the people that are engaging in this criminal monitoring system. For whatever reason, the demonic are engaging and focusing on the use of communication devices. This is central to what this entity is engaging in, and that was upon my initial observation. Absolute strangers following me around. Doing so also at the place of work while I'm practicing law, while I'm doing property management, following me around, while also harassing me on the job. And always fixated on their communication devices. These are the main observations that I made. And I started documenting it. 6NAF570, aware of the fact at the outset that this was demonic, okay? But not really honing in on that. I'm focusing on, how are you going to demonstrate the fact of what is going on? Because you're talking about what is a malicious system. And let me be clear, it is designed at the outset to never be able to establish 8 MCT 675 that a stranger is stalking you, and a stranger indeed is stalking you. A stranger in the natural, okay? I don't know Becky Sue's name. I just know her license plate, okay? And I know that she is following me around. She is following me, and then she'll take turn with another person that is engaging in the same following conduct, and then this is an ongoing pattern. Changing faces, the same following around conduct, and then also this pattern of what is using light, using their flashers every time I drive down the street, or I turn down a corner, or I remain seated at this time back in the day when I was driving before the Ontario police and the people stole my car, 8LRP 496. You're talking about what is arriving and just following, remaining where I remain, and aiming light toward me. That's law enforcement. That's the people of the state. All right, doing this exact same thing everywhere that I was at. It's a pattern. All right, and then broadening the scope as I'm documenting law enforcement, and then understanding by virtue of the state's aggression that this is bigger than the strangers that are following me around. All right, so you are starting with what is the government. This is the state's pattern of conduct. And then it gets even bigger because as I'm documenting the state and I'm documenting the people simultaneously, the state is keeping a fake sun over my head. Okay, so this is documentation that is coexistent, and I revealed it. I peeled off layer after layer. And so when I'm documenting the Upland Police Department on May 23rd, 2018, I am revealing the fact that law enforcement is indeed engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. All right, they are monitoring me, and the fake sun is over my head at my apartment where I used to live in the city of Upland. That's the whole pattern of conduct. 5ZQZ199, I believe. And that was, this has been the pattern of conduct. So when I quit my job, upon noticing that law enforcement is literally stalking me. They're everywhere that I go, and I'm noticing regardless of the fact that they're engaging in outwardly conducting themselves like they're concerned with something else, but I am aware of the pattern. All of a sudden, law enforcement, it is very prominent to me. They are everywhere that I'm at, on the freeways, on the streets, maintaining presence while I am driving anywhere, whether they are sitting in a parking lot, entering into the venue. For if I go into 7-Eleven, being inside of the store, you're talking about every method of maintaining presence, and I noticed it, okay? And I started documenting it from the outset. The state has been keeping a fake sun over my head, so understand that this totality of the P.O.C. has been the ongoing pattern of conduct as I provide, for example, my list of police encounters. These police encounters were happening in this very specific environment that I have revealed in its totality now. Now, when I started documenting, you're talking about what is revealing layers after layers. The more I documented, the more was revealed to me. But the pattern of conduct existed. It was just waiting for me to document it and reveal it. Do you understand that? Okay. Okay, so you're talking about what is documenting the police who are maintaining presence all around me, which I noticed, but you're talking about maintaining presence in a very specific environment. That's an ongoing absence of coincidence establishing the stalking conduct by law enforcement. Okay, this demon, 8WEA745, going out of their way to turn on their reverse lights and their brakes while they're sitting idle at the red light. Okay, they're stalking. All right, using and that's an act of terrorism while demons do that. This is what they do everywhere. It's a method of creating flashing light, by the way. All right, so anyway, you have what is this ongoing pattern of conduct. And with regard to why I'm mentioning it, December 31st, 2021 is because this last few days, December 31st, 2021, January 1st, 2022, and January 2nd, 2022, today, all of this documentation is published in its totality. And with regard to showing what is the ongoing pattern, I leave from American Inn. I remain at the intersection essentially for a prolonged period before I arrive at Hope Boulevard, where I've already documented at the B&G Plaza, which is at Hope Boulevard, where I'm there early in the morning. And in direct conflict with that, the state is remaining over me. The state is over the American Inn, which when I'm at the B&G Plaza early in the morning, it is not ever over it's nowhere near that direction, which I show day in and day out on my wealth of documentation. American Inn is in the exact opposite location. Because I'm at the American Inn, that's where the state's fake sun is. All right, and that is speaking to what is the ongoing sexual violence that I'm subject to by the government, subject to what is the ongoing obsessive stalking by the government, as I'm documenting the government via license plate, the people of the state, the demons that are surrounding, doing so commercially, such as Amazon Prime, doing so directly, such as the Ontario Police Department, the Ontario Fire Department, American Medical Response, monitoring me in a private space, while the state maintains that environment around me. Okay, so this is December 31st, which I am drawing an ongoing contrast. You could look at December 31st, 2021, look at January 1st, 2022, which is yesterday, where I remain at 630 North Fern. And on December 31st, where I arrive at the B&G Plaza in the late afternoon, I go to the B&G Plaza yesterday early in the morning, just as I have done times before, okay? And the state following me to that venue. But what you're looking at is the state's fake sun is at the B&G Plaza in the afternoon, which if this is the sun, the state is suggesting that not only is it remaining over your head, moving it all over me, that is if I'm not a target individual, and that is actually the sun. But again, this is not the sun. That does not remain over everyone's head, every direction that they are going, and that is impossible. Right? The sun is not maintaining ubiquitous presence over the entirety of the sky space in the United States, for example. That's not the case. All right? The sun is a star that is moving around, right? This is what we're taught, at least, about the sun. And it is not a hovering light source, it's that it would be setting buildings on fire if that was actually the sun, as I'm showing you this hovering light source that the state of California is using to remain over me. All right, and in conflict with being over the B&G Plaza day in and day out early in the morning until I go to the Ovid Family Community Library, or until I get on the bus and go to the Fontana Lewis Library, or until, I remain there for the duration of the day. The state's fake sun is at American Inn. Okay, so this is December 31st. This on January 1st, 2021, that's yesterday, 2022, that's yesterday, the state's fake sun remains over me as I go to the B&G Plaza after showing you the fake sun in the morning at 630 North Fern in the city of Ontario in California. And I go to the Ontario Village Shopping Center, I go to the B&G Plaza, and I return to 630 North Fern, where the state keeps what is this light source that is not the sun over that address, over the vehicle where I am parked in front of that address for the duration of the day. And the duration of the day, when you are talking about what is the sun, when you're talking about what is the sun that is moving across, you're talking about everything other than just Ontario, California. The actual sun is not remaining, first of all, in the state of California. It's not remaining in Southern California. It's not remaining in Ontario, California. All right? You're talking about what is that documentation, though. I have documentation of the state keeping its fake sun over that venue, over the car, aiming light inside of that car, from 8:30 a.m. up until 4:27 p.m. where I remain at that location. I go to the village, I go to the B&G Plaza, and then I return. And the state returns with its fake sun. Does not go anywhere. Does not go anywhere. That is never going to be the case where I'm showing you what's supposed to be the sun, where I'm at the Ontario Ovid Family Community Library. The American Inn is directly behind that, meaning it is north of the Ovid Family Community Library. I'm facing south when I captured over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. But on that day, on December 31st, it's nowhere near that. All right, it's remaining over me as I remain and as I walk south down Euclid Avenue, not getting to Hope Boulevard until about 1:45, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then the state moves its fake sun to, as I get on the bus at 3:23 p.m. And then as we travel east to the city of Fontana, the state is moving necessarily east with its fake sun to remain in the window of the bus. This is directed light. This is the fake sun. Now today and yesterday and the 31st, this is another very vivid illustration of what is stalking with the fake sun. And my main point, as I was pointing out yesterday, and as I expounded 7RWW498, I believe, as I was able to expound upon, is this is not just limited to California. I am prosecuting California. I am providing the tutorial for what is demonic activity as it is practiced, as it is underway by a government and a people. And what are the demonic engaging in? They're engaging in stalking and monitoring with communication devices, and that is directly relevant to existing federal law, Title 18. All right, but it is also that which is in need of additional federal legislation. This unspoken criminal system operated by a government, doing so in concert with the people, is that which is a manner of this is a system of what is none other than terrorism. All right, while this satanic conduct by people in a government remains ceaselessly underway. And so January 1st, 8 UXT 723, January 1st and January 2nd, 2022, you're going to remember what I just documented on December 31st, 2021. Today, January 2nd, 2022, remember vividly, look back at what I just documented yesterday on January 1st, 2022, where I remain at 630 North Front in the city of Ontario. And you pay attention to what the state is doing with directed light as I'm discussing it on my podcast, as I'm capturing it on video, as I'm capturing it in still images. Because it is literally the asininity that I have spoken of from the outset, upon my realizing that this is not possibly the sun that is over me all day long. How this is absurd. So absurd that I started documenting it. And to document it is to reveal what the rest of the country is engaging in. Because that is not possibly, again, I'm going to reiterate, that is not possibly the sun that is in Memphis, Tennessee, hovering over those men that kill young Dolph the rapper on November 17, 2021, when you recall and pay attention to what my documentation is revealing. Because it is the sun. The state is acting like this is the sun. Because you are stalking with what is not the sun, not possibly the sun. Because you want to feign, in other words, that that's the sun. That's very exclusive. Very exclusive. There are not many possibilities, in other words. Because I'm showing you what is what's supposed to be a sun over me in Southern California, how is it at the same time hovering, and you see it by the light activity, hovering over them in Memphis, Tennessee? That is not possible. The state's light source that remains over me is very exclusive. You see that with the light activity. You see it coexisting with directed light. You see it hovering over me and hovering over the buildings. That is not over the sky space in any other state, let alone Memphis, Tennessee. All right, when I'm talking about November 17, 2021 specifically. But that is what the documentation is relevant to. In December 31st, 2021, January 1st, 2022, January 2nd, 2022, this is an ongoing, vivid illustration, as I have done countless times, of what is the irreducible and direct evidence that is insurmountable, and it is incontrovertible with regard to what the state of California is doing, which is stalking and monitoring with communication devices. And that's why a fake sun that is not the actual sun remains over me, 7JEH853. That is why. And it is probative of what the rest of the country is doing. Because when you are revealing, you can, and on that grander scale, you can say, if you want to dismiss it, my documentation is showing what's supposed to be the sun. If this is the sun, then what is that in the sky space in the state of, just pick one. Georgia. Okay, in the state of Georgia. What is that over them? Okay, because there's only one sun. All right, and this is what I'm saying with regard to, and then not only that, I'm also revealing what is the impossibility with what the state does, and understanding, recognizing what's the state's pattern with stalking with light. There are specific patterns. All of them, I've revealed them. And the main objective is to touch me with light and to touch everything around me with light. Not normal light. This is engineered light. That's the objective. And it's entirely demonic. And it is also going to be translated in what is terrorism. While the state wants to constantly touch with that engineered light, that is going to be translated into what is the conduct of a sex offender who was threatening your life while it's stalking you. That's the people of the state, and that's the government. Okay, so like I said, that's what I wanted to focus in on. I have been doing more than one thing at one time, not only documenting third parties, documenting the entity while you're hearing me speak, but also providing what is that analytical framework for what you are witnessing. And the totality of that documentation is published December 31st, 2021, January 1st, 2022, and January 2nd, 2022. And this is fully published online. I am going to also go back and for the ease of, doing the brain work for everyone else. And I get it because you are revealing what is a very serious allegation, which they're not unfounded allegations. They are not baseless allegations. They are fully revealed and fully substantiated allegations of what is federal stalking by government, and also what is demon possession by those engaging in that federal stalking. And so, in other words, what I'm stating is the ongoing playlist that I suggest you recall. And I'm just speaking to what is the immediate history. So January 2nd, January 1st, December 31st. All right. This is the immediate history. But there is an ongoing pattern of cumulative documentation revealing ceaseless stalking with a fake sun, with continuity. The state is showing continuity of purpose. And it is also showing what is impossible with what the state is doing in Southern California, and the state of California is very precise to where I am, because that's what I'm documenting. And I'm the only one documenting that, all right? Because it is an unspoken system, and I am peeling off the layers and showing what is raw and unadulterated criminal conduct by a government that is absolutely twisted in every single way, twisted and desperate and determined. That's what these demons reveal about the government, about themselves as an entity, while they are stalking indirectly, like crawling all around like the animals that they are in what is abnormal life. That's what I'm showing you day in and day out, while they're stalking in a bathroom, or they're stalking me while I am remaining in this economic status that this entity placed me in, because it is threatening my life and stalking and monitoring me, and harassing me, including when I was in the workforce, where I have every right to not be subject to it. All right, having a directly relevant and foreseeable impact on my financial status, all right, on my economic status, and what the situation that I'm in now. But that is revealing what is the government that is targeting one that is myself, regardless of my economic status. That's a terrorizing threat. All right, you want to stalk somebody who is quote unquote homeless. You want to stalk someone who is in the bathroom. You want to stalk somebody who is in what is supposedly a private space where I live, wherever it is that I am remaining, where I'm occupying. All right, that's a terrorizing threat while the government does that. No warrant, no probable cause, no legal right whatsoever. Right, and not even doing it within any authority under the law. Where the government is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, the government is engaging in criminal conduct. Where the government is engaging in criminal conduct, it has thereby stripped itself of any legitimate authority under the law. All right, it is then engaging in what is the form, taking on what is the outward appearance of the same government, but this is not the same government that is engaging in criminal conduct. But by virtue of that, this is the same government that is then engaging in fictitious authority. You are not the same government because you are now a criminal. You're monitoring American citizens in violation of the law, in concert with the people. All right, and then you are still taking on that same position as some legitimate government, and you are not. You are not. Everything that you are doing, everything that you are trying to cover up that you are doing, everything that you are engaged in is pursuant to criminal conduct. That's the fictitious exercise of authority under the law. And that is going to be relevant to that government's prosecution, and that government's being subject to that investigation, to that criminal case for what is public corruption. All right? That's the significance of everything that I'm documenting and publishing. All right. So with regard to, again, I just want to be clear, December 31st, January 1st, and January 2nd, which is today. This is, I want you to recall and look at it. These are playlists that are published on my YouTube channel, and they are published by date on my website, thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com. And I will, like I said, I will go back through, I will go back and, because I did not have time to go through and, with a fine-tooth comb and point out like I usually do. Look at this while you're looking at this video. Remind yourself and look at that. Okay, at the same minute, at the same hour. Okay, you have which is supposed to be the sun. But what about when I'm in Glendora, California, and it is remaining directly over my head? And then also, it's not just that you're looking at. You're looking at what is this directed light? Because that's not sunlight either. That's not the sun, and that is not sunlight. You are understanding the pattern of conduct by the state that is stalking with a fake sun, which is an unheard of an entirely terrorizing method for what is monitoring an American citizen in concert with the people of the state in violation of Title 18. All right, it is currently 5:44 p.m. and again, I am on the bus heading back toward Ontario, and I remain subject to the system right now. I am on bus number 1222, and I'm also on surveillance camera on this bus, and the entity is engaging in the ongoing elements, maintaining directed light, as I've also shown on video. The directed light remains on the bus. The bus is driving on the roads, which is covered in directed light, all right? The people of the state are stalking in the path. The same demons stalking in the path with activity while the state is maintaining the ongoing elements, all right? It is the same demented entity, and it is ceaselessly underway, and that is understanding what is terrorism, all right? It is currently 5:44 p.m., and this is P.O.C. It is currently 5:53 p.m. and at what is the intersection of 4th Street at the 15 freeway exit, where the Chevron and the Albertos is, where I've shown you the directed light and the state's fake sun directly over that venue. Right now they are creating facilitating light at that car wash with flickering light. 7FOE 630, 7MM1790, 8 PDL 595, I believe, 8 RWN 468. We're now approaching the Ontario Mills, passing the Costco, 8FXR 466, passing the Panera Bread and all those venues, 8HQM 490, that's audible activity while directed light is on the bus. All of these venues are monitoring. 8WV, I can't really see that one. It's, again, 5:54 p.m. I can't really see that one. Passing Franklin and 4th Street. Monitoring at Wiener Schnitzel. Got a demon aiming their headlights toward the bus. Wiener Schnitzel is on the property of the Ontario Mills. So. It is currently 5:55 p.m. at the intersection of Milliken and 4th. 7FOE 630, 7NVY002, 8XVP 463, 8WGW 423. 7ZPA 631, or I think that was 6ZPA 631 or 7ZPA, 8HYC 772. Hold on a second. That's not bueno. It is 6ZPA 631. Let me make sure I get that one correctly. Get as many minions as I can. 8KA 8679, 8POL 955, 8WGW 423, yeah, that's right, 8HQM 493, alrighty, 8LKJ 051, 8SDN 144, and it's 5:56 p.m. 7ZTN 051, 6VVA 649, 7VCA 882, 8VCL 629, 7JAY 714, 8WXV 662, 20745X2. 51956J2. The state aiming bright white directed light onto the bus. In doing so, as I make like a new sudden movement, stalking with light. Alright, this bus stop at the Ontario Mills. Again, McDonald's is a means of loitering in relevant position and patrolling in and out of the driveway. This is the McDonald's at the Ontario Mills. It's 6 p.m. Alright, documenting the minions at 6:01 p.m. as they're patrolling onto the bus. They're doing so, creating activity, and they are in directed light. They're systematically monitoring. This is at the Ontario Mills. It is currently 6:01 p.m. again. Seven RTS 812 8NTK 553. And that is molesting, by the way. It's currently 6:03 p.m. Monitoring at Mathis Brothers. Mathis Brothers, again, they're on Inland Empire Boulevard in Ontario. They have flickering light on their property, and you have what are the demons that are aiming light, stalking in the path as the bus is driving down the street. This is the people creating light, doing so at that venue. And let me be clear, the entity isn't, I'm subject to systematic monitoring. So this is constant crossing a path. All I'm doing is calling out as I am witnessing. I'm looking at them engaging in the elements. That's what I'm doing. I'm calling them out as they engage in it before my face. It's 6:05 p.m. Medical response, crossing paths, stalking on Inland Empire. We're approaching Haven right now. So they're driving down a cross street where these hotels are in order to cross path. That's right now at 6:06 p.m. The bus driver is honking the horn with simultaneity to what I'm doing as I move my head. Right? They were doing the same thing where we were leaving from McDonald's when I was speaking about that. He honks the horn as a means of stalking with audible activity. That's employee number 3640, the African American male. That's a demon. Okay? Demonic. It's 6:06 p.m. In the background, they're making noise in directed light. They're demons. It is 6:07 p.m. All they're doing is stalking on a bus, and and they wait till I make a sudden move. They request to stop, and they maintain presence while the state cycles directed light on the bus, and while the demons all around that I'm identifying, such as American Medical Response, etc., are stalking all around the bus. It's P.O.C. It's 6:08 p.m. Let's see, 5 TME 112. And I'm monitoring at the mobile at the intersection of Archibald and Inland Empire Boulevard. They're just group stalking, aiming their lights toward the bus, which is directed light. That's why it's so bright at that distance while I'm on the bus on the road, and they're at a gas station. That's 5XME 112, by the way. And they are aiming their vehicles in this direction. They are monitoring. It is 6:09 p.m. Amazon Prime crossing path at Archibald and Airport. Large truck. Ford X. Oh, I can't really see that one. That's a Washington plate, though. Light activity on the grounds of the Ontario Airport. Currently 6:11 p.m. All right, it's currently 6:12 p.m. License 8SNK 295 6537083. That's BD80, Guadalajara. It's a commercial vehicle. 7VXL 974. SOG 052. And they have an Army license plate. That Army serving whoever they are demon possessed, and they're monitoring. 6FFE 411. All right, that's what's in your Army and your Air Force in the U.S. Demon-possessed stalkers monitoring American citizens and then serving and requiring honor, expecting honor. CA39D29. I've met many veterans. 8XMU653, 93508S2 Bellcab, 22646U1 Bellcab, 6161082 Bellcab, 8AJM294, including Tommy Allen Banks, formerly in the Air Force, I believe. Tracy Banks was married to him, he was in the service, and he's, first of all, demon-possessed. He's a psychopath. He is engaging in the state's criminal system and affiliated with being in the military. I just want to be clear, demons who are using human beings who are affiliated with everything that you would consider and deem and assume to be honorable in the U.S. It is the complete reverse and opposite of what you expect, and that is the malice of the system. All right? And like I said, I've documented plenty of them affiliating themselves with the military. Look at what law enforcement is. The demon is hiding in a corner at the Ontario Airport, monitoring with 7L88298. All right? That's P.O.C. That cockroach is over there aiming light onto a wall. That's a demon of the Ontario Police Department. 8HNW295. I think I read that one. 6SGM200. And let's see. 0090G3. 00009G3, I believe. 6FFE411. I read that one. 7XZF243. Alright, and it's currently 6:15 p.m. Alright, documenting, including documentation of third parties, including the Ontario Police Department, and that is literally a demon that is sitting on the side of the airport with their headlights on. They're touching us. If you understand what is the elements, I've told you what is touching surfaces with light. That is a demon that is robed in the uniform of Ontario Police, and this demon is... It's not funny because it is so disturbing, but this is literally a demon that is focusing light onto a wall while the bus is driving by. So this is the Ontario Police who are stalking in the path. They're crossing path in reverse, meaning they're sitting there loitering, and they're aiming light onto a wall like an absolute psychopath, stalking with light in this regard. Demons are focused on this, touching surfaces all around, and that's what the Ontario Police officer is doing. 7KDC 273, I believe, while they are aiming light while the bus is in motion, and amongst the third parties that I'm also reciting who are crossing path on the road, including Bell Cab. I also captured video of what is directed light cycling on the bus. Okay, and again, look at the motion of the directed light. I've captured this before, but this is just the ongoing environment. The demons sitting on the bus aren't doing anything but stalking on behalf of the state, and the directed light is moving from the back of the bus forward, not from the back of the bus, but the motion coming from the back of the bus to the front of the bus. And I want to be clear, while the bus is driving forward and you are approaching what are supposed to be street lamps, this is supposed to be the form for what's light that's on the ground, and it's not, because the light would be moving backwards from the front of the bus backwards if that was actually street lamp light, but it's not. Okay, and second of all, you are looking at what is the roof of the bus, which is covered. The light from street lamps is not going to be in motion on the ground at all. It's not even going to touch. Street lamps are not aiming horizontally, concentrated, and then hitting the ground and then traveling. That's what would be required. They're not traveling horizontally through the windows and then hitting the ground, cycling through the middle of the bus. That's not street lamps. All right, that's not light caused by street lamps. That is the state's directed light, and you can also see the shadow of the yellow bars, like I was pointing out in the video. And I've also shown this before, where you could see the chairs, the shadow of the chairs on the ground while the state was cycling directed light, meaning moving it. It's directed light that is in motion through the middle of the bus. That is not light that is occurring under any street lamps. All right, and the light from street lamps, as you're driving under them, would be going in the opposite direction. But second of all, they would not even appear on the floor in motion. That's not light activity that's occurring from any street lamp. All right, and that's by virtue of the structure of the bus. Okay, but I did capture that video. That is speaking to what is, again, that psychopath that is in the position of the Ontario Police Department. That psychopath freak weirdo is a stalker and is sitting there focusing light on a wall like a demon. That's what demons do. That's exactly what they're doing. And I captured video of what is the directed light. And they're doing nothing but monitoring on the bus, and that's why that directed light is present. That's the ongoing P.O.C. It's currently 6:19 p.m. 8TSZ198. Again, that's 8TSZ198. Monitoring while the state is engaging in that ongoing maintenance of moving directed light from the front area of the bus, where you see these demons sitting at the front on their phones, sitting in the front. The two minions that I told you, all they're doing is making noise in directed light. And the first row right here next to me, and the third row with the top bun on, she's in operation of her communication device. And the back row, the male with the black Adidas hat on, he's in operation of his communication device while the state is moving directed light in the middle of the bus. They're all on surveillance cameras, which I'm referencing as well. It's currently 6:24 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, it is license plate 1234515, bus 1222. Again, that's driven by employee number 3640. That's the African American male that has the directed light on the bus that is literally going in the opposite direction. It's flowing toward the front of the bus, and that's not even the direction that light would flow if it was actually capable of appearing on the floor in the center of the bus. It's just asininity. Like I said, it's unintelligent, unsophisticated. It is pure, desperate demons that are stalking and monitoring one person, and I'm documenting because I'm going to prosecute the hell out of this entity. I'm going to drag Satan in court. It's 6:28 p.m., but the reason why it's good because it shows that anyone can recognize this, and you can document the government. It's not sophisticated. It's just a bunch of demons. All right. But that is nothing to be intimidated by. All right. I did it. One person. 8 CIZ 984. And all you need is one to create what is the legal framework whereby you can prosecute the government. All right. Bringing it, chopping it down to size. It is currently 6:29 p.m. and I am at Limited Holt in Ontario. That is Union Pacific, a heavily documented terrorist operating under a commercial name to be identified as a sex-offending, demon-possessed psychopath company that engages in monitoring American citizens. And that is based on the documented criminal activity of Union Pacific. It is currently 6:29 p.m. and this is P.O.C. License 7ELH047. This demon comes from back behind where transit is. He's engaging in the conduct of aiming light toward me on the opposite side of Lemon, and the demons are driving by in that light. You saw this while I'm sitting in the car, and the state was aiming directed light inside of the car across the dashboard, and the demons drive by creating light activity. That's what that demon is doing. 8NXB 468. So I ran across the street and got that demon's license plate. License 8W42879, 8GJB, 8B. Oh, you can scratch that. I can't really see it. It is currently, by the way, 6:32 p.m. License 6WXZ108. All right, you just heard me running back across the street. All right, anyway, it's 6:32 p.m. P.O.C. ROB 3KKD. That third party is molesting while another demon, just like the one I just documented, waits until Tracy Banks arrives, where I'm going to get in the car. So this is formed for this demon that's a predator waiting to touch, to aim light. And my shadow appears behind me at a distance on the wall of what is Metro 102. A demon that is monitoring me is ROB 3KKD, a sex offender all the same, 6:34 p.m. You want to move that bag? Yeah, thank you. Let me be clear. Tracy Banks is engaged in an ambush sexual violent conduct. All right? Engaged in the P.O.C. when I'm licensed. It's 6:34 p.m. 98354U2, Ontario Fire Department, group stalking on B Street, crossing path right now. License 5UAE144. $6YDZ062, crossing path while the state is aiming what is directed light. First of all, so let me tell you what the fire department is doing. The fire department is turning on and off its sirens, and then you have what is doing that while I'm in operation of my phone. The demon possessed, which are the people of the state, are driving by. The state is aiming what is then red and white colored, like the fire department trucks lights. There's no fire department vehicle over here. They're sounding sirens while the demons, including license plate 4ZJH881, is crossing path, and the state is aiming that color directed light inside of this car and on the tree right here next to where I'm standing. And I am standing adjacent to this venue where you hear plane activity. This is 621 North Fern Avenue, where the state is flying over. The Ontario Fire Department is stalking, sounding sirens in directed light, and also the state aiming substantial red and white directed light, like fire truck lights, while the demon possessed are driving by. Okay, that's the P.O.C, and you hear the state sounding plane activity flying over this street in directed light, audible activity, relevant positioning, and directed light. That's the ongoing elements, and that's P.O.C. That's terrorism by the entity, and I am again by the venue that is at 621 North Fern, on the same street, just across the street from 630 North Fern. That is the venue that I continuously reference. It is 7 p.m. on the dot. That is P.O.C. and the Ontario Fire Department are group stalking, using their sirens as a means of criminal conduct. Those demons that are vested in the position as the fire department, engaging in criminally monitoring and stalking somebody that is inside of a car where those demons know exactly where I'm sleeping. That's why they're using their sirens, and the state is using what is the color of fire truck lights as directed light inside of this car, while the demon possessed, the people of the state, sex offenders, stalking in bathrooms and stalking where I sleep in a car, to engage in ongoing monitoring in violation of Title 18, and it is also terrorism. 7:01 p.m. and 630 North Fern, stalking with light. using the light on its venue to create light activity. It's 701 P.O.C. That's the state stalking by plane. And I did capture images of that 7:05 p.m. hovering over the street. You see the plane right over here, flying right over the house where I'm in front of at 621 North Fern Avenue, and amplifying plane activity in directed light. That is P.O.C. Seconds later, that is the same entity sounding sirens in directed light. They're psychopaths. They're not going anywhere, and they're creating audible activity in directed light. Plane activity, sirens, that is P.O.C. And that's a demon that's just creating noise and engineered light. A demon to be snatched out of those positions, engaging in criminal conduct in positions they have no business in. That's what public corruption is all about. 7:06 p.m. Creating light activity in relevant position. Yeah, so they're stalking. 7-Eleven at 636 North Vine is monitoring while they're creating light activity on the venue of what is 325 West G Street. Those are emergency lights. That's the demons of the Fire Department, the demons of American Medical Response, and the Ontario Police Department, who use their sirens as a means of creating audible activity in directed light, and directed light reaching onto the surface of what is 325 West G Street. They are stalking around the perimeter, which is G Street, which is intersecting with Fern Avenue. This is P.O.C. That is Union Pacific and possible audible activity. And that is also the Fire Department. All right, so you have what is the pattern of conduct underway. That is monitoring activity in concert with the people of the state. 7:07 p.m. All right, so the state is touching with this colored directed light. This is the method of using supposed to be light of emergency vehicles. It's red and white. Touching while I'm in front of 621 North Fern. Doing so as soon as I stop recording. It's 7:08 p.m. So it's seconds later. I just want to record that. Touching with directed light. This is terrorism by the demons of of the state acting directly, engaging in sexual violence. They're also sex offenders because they listen to me pull my panties down, and I'm going to prosecute them with that evidence of that. And this is terrorism while they're monitoring and engaging in molestation with directed light, which is reaching into the vehicle parked on parked in front of 621 North Fern, that is facing south, and directed light reaching into the car. Okay, while also touching what is the surfaces of 325 West G Street at the intersection of G and Fern. It's 7:09 p.m. 7V CB855, crossing path. And crossing path is 7ZUB813 and 7TBB568. Going to the venue, going down the alleyway, which is right here next to 621 North Fern, their crossing path. And the state is also crossing path via airplane, 7:10 p.m. All right, while the state is stalking by airplane, this demon crossing path, license plate, 7DTD008, and touching. Alrighty, it is currently, by the way, 7:11 p.m., 7GUZ123, and you already know about 6YOX838, 8NAW854, 8NAW854, BM16G94. That's a paper plate on a blue Town Country van. And this one, license plate 8JSD216, 21209C2. Seven LGS 735. And this one doesn't have any license plate on it. Old green Acura with no plate on it. It's an Acura with a Honda emblem on it. 8NNF160. And parked in front of 621 North Fern is 5YVY873, 7JJM385. 4XEZ709, and my shadow across the street on touching on that house, right? That's directed light. License, let's see, 1C53471, 8W23699, BSDNA77. This one, 7RXZ919, 7ATU947. 5HQE019, 6225 9P2, 7BTJ448, and it's 7:13 p.m. All of them monitoring while the state aiming lights like a fire truck is parked right behind me, aiming directed light inside of the car to touch with that light. That's, by the way, that is the ways in which demons communicate a threat, specifically identifying an actor, such as using sirens, such as using police lights or lights of an emergency vehicle. Those are the demons that I'm identifying, that I'm documenting and prosecuting, that are also kidnappers and they're violent sex offenders. All right, and it's also the same exact directed light. It is currently 7:14 p.m. Those are third parties who are monitoring with the entity that's engaging in that P.O.C. while demons are patrolling by an airplane and by vehicle. It is 7:14 p.m. That's what they are continuously doing, sounding sirens, the Ontario Fire Department. And that is the sirens that are turning on and off. That's not the fire department. The fire department is blowing its horn, stopping, blowing its horns again, stopping. And those are the sirens of Sons of American Medical Response. It's 7:22 p.m. And all those demons are doing is driving around in a circle, stalking on the opposite side of the block, sounding sirens on their vehicles. They're demons, literal psychopaths. 7:22 p.m. You're listening to monitoring. Directed light remains. That is the criminal activity of the state acting directly. It's 7:24 p.m.